home. That's right. Let's launch this thing now.
45 degrees and partly cloudy just outside our nation's capital, Landover, Maryland. Site of FedEx Field and the site of today's playoff game between the Lions and the Redskins. Al Michaels with Boomer Esiason and Leslie Visser. Last year, the Lions were 5-11. When they opened training camp this year, a bomb was dropped. Barry Sanders, on the eve of training camp, said, "I'm through, I quit." And Barry did not play it down this year. The Lions have had no running game, but Bobby Ross did a magnificent job keeping this team together. They got off to a hot start. They finished with 4 straight losses, but at 8-8, good enough to get into the playoffs. The Redskins, meanwhile, 6-10 last year, an ownership change. Then on opening day this year, blew a 21-point lead to Dallas, but they rebounded. They had the second best offense in the National Football League this season and the second worst defense. So a lot of points up on the board in almost every Redskin game. Washington and Detroit. The winner plays next weekend. The loser watches the game on television.
This game is also being broadcast in HD TV in cooperation with Panasonic on the digital TV channel of your local ABC station where available.
Final answer? You win $250. You're right, way to go. $25,000. The winner is... He's won $1 million.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire returns Sunday at 9/8 Central on ABC.
Spanish commentary for this game can be heard using the SAP feature on your TV set where available. Brought to you by National Car Rental.
A great aerial view of this 3-year-old facility just outside Washington, D.C. And Boomer, we talked about the fact that the Lions have had no running game this year. Don't figure to have one today. So how are they going to beat the Washington Redskins?
Al, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to move their fullback to tailback, Corey Schlesinger, to give a little bit more pop to that running game. But expect them to deploy a 3-wide receiver set. They got 3 great wide receivers in Crowell, Morton, and Moore. That's where they have the best matchups. Bobby Ross told me before the game, if they could just keep Gus Frerotte calm early on in this game and he doesn't turn the ball over early, they can make some big plays down the field.
Now, the Redskins, on the other hand, have a great running game, even though Stephen Davis has missed 2.5 games with an ankle. We'll keep an eye on him early. But they also have a great quarterback in Brad Johnson. They picked him up from Minnesota. He's turned out to be a godsend for them.
It was a great trade in the offseason by Norv Turner and the Washington Redskins. He started all 16 games for the first time in his career. Over 4,000 yards. He's a Pro Bowler. He's got everything motoring, especially a great running back in Stephen Davis. But they, too, also have great wide receivers. And the best defense for the Washington Redskins, since their defense isn't very good, is to keep their defense off the field and control the football. And that's what Brad Johnson does very well.
Crowd is juiced up. The Redskins haven't been to the playoffs since 1992. Lions and Redskins from Washington.
So in conclusion, I'd like to thank you, shareholders, for taking the time to attend.
Excuse me.
Yes.
This is Mr. Matambo. Looking at your annual report, page 16, can you explain the implications of floating your long-term debt in a potentially inflationary economy?
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm...
Do you know anything about inventory valuation?
We created a smarter kind of investor.
ABC Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Beautiful day. No threat of rain. Partly cloudy skies. Temperature in the mid-40s at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland, just outside Washington, D.C. Norv Turner completing his 6th season at the helm of the Washington Redskins to the playoffs for the first time. And he's with Leslie Visser. Hi, Leslie.
Hi, Alan Boomer. As you said, Alan, a really exciting place to be. Well, Norv, you have home field advantage. You have history on your side, but you lost badly to this team 5 weeks ago. What is key today?
We played poorly the last time we played these guys. We got to play better. Hopefully being at home will be a big difference.
What about Gus Farrat? You had him for 5 years. Where is he most dangerous?
We really need to cover better than we did last time we played him, and that'll allow us to get some more pressure on Gus.
Well, nobody's known better than you. Thanks, Norv. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Leslie. Norv said the worst game the Skins played all season was at the Silverdome on the 5th of December when Farrat and the Lions won the game 33-17. That's the last time Detroit won a game, though.
14 penalties, 5 sacks, and 4 turnovers, Al. But this one is outdoors, and you're at home, so it's a different set of circumstances.
Desmond Howard is hurt, so Ty Talton, the rookie, is back to receive the kick at the 9-yard line, the Conway kick. And he brings it back out to the 27, and that's where the Lions, with Gus Farrat, will take over. Gus Farrat played his college football at Tulsa, was a Redskin until last year when he was released and was signed to back up Charlie Batch in Detroit. And behind him, as Boomer said, they make the change in the backfield. Go with Schlesinger and Reese, the running backs. Morton and Moore outside. Sloan, the tight end. Ramirez, Semple, Compton, Hardings, and Brooks up front. Ray Roberts, their outstanding left tackle, hurt about a month ago, and so they've had to do a lot of shifting in the interior. First down from the 27 with a crowd in full voice. And Farrat going down, sacked by Greg Jones. On the opening offensive play, the linebacker Jones buries Farrat. That Washington defense, and the strength of it is up front along the line with Wilkinson and Stubblefield in the middle and Cook and Coleman outside. The linebackers have been pretty ordinary, even though you'd never know it from that last play. Jones, Smith, and Barber. Then you've got the rookie Bailey and the 39-year-old Green at the corners. Shade and Evans are the safeties. 2nd and 17. Jermaine Crowell is in the game. 3 wide out set. They give it to Schlesinger. And Corey picks up 4 to the 24. It'll be 3rd down and 13. Derek Smith makes the tackle.
Well, you go back to the first play of the game. Farrat just gets drilled by Jones, and Schlesinger does not pick up the blitz. And that's basically, you have to wonder if it's because he's back there at halfback and he's not used to blocking from that position. And Jones just basically comes free. And if you're Farrat, that's what you want. Well, you don't want it, but you want to get hit at the beginning of the game to kind of settle you down a little bit. And this is where he's got to be careful, Al. You cannot turn the ball over early in the game down here, and the timeout, probably the best thing for him.
So you've had a sack, and you've been forced to use a timeout in the first minute and 17 seconds. Not a particularly glorious start for Detroit. 3rd and 13 when we come back.
People are beginning to think of the automobile not just as a family vehicle, but as a personal and individual means of transportation.
The throb of a powerful engine. Now for a moment, imagine yourself as driver of this automobile. You really have to drive it. At the Chrysler Proving Ground, give them an expressway and their drivers are willing.
I think we've made the scenic back roads fun to drive.
I'll give them any country or suburban road, rough or smooth. They're the type of people who like the feel of a fine machine.
Love to drive. The renowned engineers of Chrysler.
A minimum of ornamentation and a minimum of chrome moldings.
She's a regular firecracker. The sounds of nature sing their prettiest over the rich, throaty obligato of his engine.
Even sheet metal can have a soul.
And they give you back the romance of driving.
And that is why these will never land on an ordinary car.
And you find out what exceptional unity of man and machine has been achieved.
My name's Bob.
Tim.
Karen.
I'm quitting smoking.
With Nicorette.
Nicorette gives me 2 ways to help control my cravings.
First, I help prevent them.
You see, I set myself up on a regular schedule. 6 pieces a day.
9.
12.
But you know when you just get that craving anyway?
Doing my taxes.
Meeting my new daughter-in-law.
Blind date.
I take another piece.
To help take control.
And now, after smoking for 20 years...
I'm finally gonna make it.
I'm sticking with it.
I'm gonna do it.
You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Farrat coming back. Farrat with his left hand taped when he went to the sideline. And there is Corey Sauter, who right now is the #2 quarterback. Boomer, take a look at this on the sack.
And there's Jones going right there. You can see number 30, Schlesinger, trying to get over, realizing that his man. He might have broken a finger, Al.
And there's Charlie Batch. Charlie already has a broken right thumb, in uniform, could play but can't pass, which is problematic for a quarterback. And their other quarterback, Corey Sauter, has never thrown a pro pass. Here's a screen. That goes to Cedric Irvin, the third down back, the rookie out of Michigan State, but he is well shy of the first down. And so it's 3 and out on Detroit's first series.
Well, I honestly think that he hurt probably his ring finger or his pinky, and it might be broken on his left hand. He has no choice but to play in this game. Thankfully, it wasn't his right hand, but I will tell you, this will be bothering him all night long. I'm going to have to be careful. We'll have to watch him to see whether or not he's able to handle the ball.
Brian Mitchell is back to receive the kick. John Jett will send it skyward. 2 minutes into the game, if you're just tuning in and missed the earlier game, in a miracle finish, the Tennessee Titans beat the Buffalo Bills 22-16, running back a kick in the final seconds. John Jett to Mitchell at the 25, eludes the first man and then brings it back to the 31-yard line. So that's Jim Zorn, the ex-Seattle quarterback, and the quarterback's coach now with Detroit, going over things with Farrat as the Redskins come out. Brad Johnson had been with the Minnesota Vikings since '92, then lost his job to Cunningham, came here in a trade, did a magnificent job this year. And behind him in the backfield, we'll keep our eye on Stephen Davis with a tender ankle. Larry Centers, the ex-Cardinal. Westbrook and Connell outside, and Alexander, the tight end. Heck Sims, Raymer, Johnson, and John Jansen up front. Trey Johnson will go to the Pro Bowl. John Jansen, a rookie out of Michigan. From the 31-yard line, they give it to Davis, who was somewhat limited in practice this week, but progressed nicely according to Norv Turner, and he picks up 3. Tackled by Claiborne. The Lions, Porche, Jones, Ellis, and Scroggins up front. The linebackers, Aldridge, Boyd will be going to the Pro Bowl. Claiborne, the #1 draft pick out of SC. Westbrook and Bailey at the corners. Carrier and Rice are the safeties.
Now, if they're going to win this game, the Detroit Lions, it's going to fall right on the shoulders of this defense, trying somehow to control the running game and the short passing game of the Redskins.
And forcing turnovers. 2nd down and 8. They give it to Davis again. Steven had a good chance to win the NFL rushing crown, which was claimed by Edgerrin James, the Indianapolis rookie, but he was hurt 2.5 weeks ago. Let's get a report from Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Al, just a quick note, of course, Redskin fans are famous for coming early and staying late, but at this moment about 10,000 fans are not here. There is a suicide attempt on the Wilson Bridge. That's the main road 95 between Virginia and Maryland, and all traffic is stopped. Al?
And that's the reason only about 70,000 instead of 80 are here right now. Johnson on 3rd down, forced to throw it in effect away. The nearest receiver was Irving Pryor, and it will be 4th down.
And you could see why the Detroit Lions defense is as good as it is, because they get pressure with 4 guys. When you're talking about Tracy Scroggins and also Robert Porche on the outside, and you can get that kind of pressure, you can flood the secondary with 7 people. Very difficult to try to complete passes in that kind of situation, Al.
Matt Turk will take the snap from his brother, Dan Turk. Dan does the snapping, Matt does the booting. And Yohani Owezike, the ex-49er, will let it go. There's a flag down as Turk got hit. Clint Krewald came in, tried to block it, made contact, draws the flag. It was 4th down and 5. Chuck Prefer is the Detroit special teams coach. Is it running into the kicker, Bob McElwee, or roughing the kicker? There's a significant difference here because it looks like it's about 4th and 5.5.
Right, you saw Corwin Brown, number 44 of the Lions right there, just kind of pleading his case with Bob McElwee, but to no avail. And Bobby Ross just absolutely livid. A guy that I played for, Al, many years ago.
Number 58 defense, 5 yards, first down.
He will not stand, and he will not tolerate mistakes like this. This is the same as a turnover. You could see that. He's just kind of slipping into him.
Well, Bob McElwee has said running in, it's a 5, running into the kicker, it's 5 yards, but they're going to mark it off. He said first down, but this is actually going to be very close. Now they have marked it, at the 41. Bob initially said first down, but I mentioned it was a 4th, and from where we look at it, 5.5, and now they will mark it. And I would assume measure it, because I don't think they have the first down.
It looks like the sticks are just over the 41, and the ball is resting just under the 41 right there.
To see if 5 yards will give the kicking team a first down.
That's exactly right, and I don't think it will. And so it's going to be 4th and inches, we believe, as soon as they bring the chains out.
Talking to Bobby Ross before the game, Al, he was telling me that we have a real shot at winning this game. Nobody's given us a chance. Everybody feels like this is a mail-in game for the Redskins, except for the Lions fans and the Lions players. And he basically said, look, if we just can control their offense a little bit and have no turnovers and no penalties, or keep the penalties to a minimum, this is our best chance to win a game.
Now Bob McElwee gave the first down signal, so they didn't bring the...
Well, now they're going to have to move the chains. The chain guys are even confused. They haven't moved yet either.
They are.
There they go.
They give them a first down at the 41-yard line. First down for the Redskins after the running into the kicker penalty. The blitz forces Johnson to get rid of the pass in a hurry. And it will be 2nd down and 10. Brad, I think Brad Johnson, much like Hostetler, Boomer, in the sense, Jeff spent a lot of years in New York, rarely playing. In fact, a couple of seasons not even taking a snap, as did Johnson in Minnesota. Then when he got his opportunity, away he went.
Yeah, but when you talk to Brad Johnson, he'll tell you that he set the table in Minnesota a few years and then just never got the chance to finish it off because of injury. And certainly he's found a home here. Norv Turner told us, boy, he is so happy with this guy.
2nd down, 10. Here is Davis, and he gets bunched up just about at the line of scrimmage. Davis, the question on everybody's lips around here for the last 72 hours, Boomer, how effective could he be? How much will that ankle bother him?
And you could see Al, he's a big guy. Last year he played fullback for the Redskins because Larry Bowie, their fullback last year, got hurt. Did not have a 100-yard game, obviously. Only rushed for, I believe, about 108 yards total last year. This year, 6 games over 100 yards. He's a tough inside runner. Keep an eye on him, because if he goes out of the game, I think the momentum switches to Detroit.
He comes out in 3rd down, and on 3rd and 10, Johnson over the middle connects with Irving Fryer in his 16th year out of Nebraska. Irving has been around since the mid-'80s, retired for a while. Redskins got him back, and he's been a key part of their offense down the stretch.
One-on-one with J.B. Brown, just breaking across the middle. Older receivers do a good job of setting up their pass routes and are able to break across. And you watch Brad Johnson in the pocket. He is poised, and he is calm, and he's confident, something Norv Turner hasn't had here in a while.
From the 43-yard line, Johnson going deep, hangs it up, and it's incomplete. Bryant Westbrook may have hit him early. Albert Connell, the intended receiver, the flag going down at the 1-yard line.
Well, if you're a Detroit Lion fan, you get used to seeing this, and you can see that Bryant Westbrook gets beat at the line of scrimmage, and it's basically
pass interference, number 32 defense, first down.
Run by Connell, and Westbrook has no choice but to tackle Connell, and you take a look at this right here. You can see how badly he's got him beat, and Westbrook's doing all he can to catch up. But this is something that has marred his entire season, and many people in Detroit wonder about the confidence of Bryant Westbrook and where he's at mentally.
Number 69.
Just can't continue to do this, and that's the one thing that you don't want to have happen to you if you're the Detroit Lions. You work so hard and then give up a big play like that.
1st and goal at the 1-yard line. Does not get in. He'll spot it just outside the goal line. Luther Ellis is the first to hit him.
You just have to wonder, and there's Bryant Westbrook right there, and he's obviously struggled this season with covering the long pass. And take a look at Stephen Davis in the first quarter, 8 first-quarter TDs, and you think he's good in the first quarter. How good is the offense? Put you in those situations.
2nd and goal. Almost an inverted T. Now they shift out. Johnson rolling and pointing and then has to throw it away. So you're within 2 inches of getting it into the end zone, and the next thing you know, it's third down. Luther Ellis chasing Johnson out of the pocket.
It's not a bad spot for a play-action pass like this, though, Al. The defense is so set on trying to stop the run that if you can give a good fake, and that wasn't a great fake, to be honest with you, you give it a shot on second down, and I think third down you'll probably run the football here. But Johnson was pointing to get his guy to come back towards the back of the end zone and try to throw it in behind the defender.
Terry Rubisky coordinating the passing game. Davis and Sellers in the backfield. Sellers as the blocking back. They give it to Davis, and there's a problem with the handoff, but he gets into the end zone.
Well, if you're Brad Johnson, you have to get out of the way. These guys get down by the goal line. They smell touchdown. They want the money. That's the way it works. And Brad Johnson's limping around a little bit now, and it looks like they hit knees.
You saw the owner of the team, Dan Snyder. So they get in on third down and goal, and for Detroit, the game begins with a timeout on offense, a 3-and-out, and then 2 penalties when they bring their defensive unit out, and a touchdown for Washington. Conway for the point after. And the killer for Detroit was the 5-yard running into the kicker, then the 41-yard penalty on Westbrook. Davis scores, and with 9:09 left in the period, Snyder's Redskins lead 7-0.
Policemen, firemen, the mayor of my town. The dude's hanging off with a paper truck. Mr. Chang down at the local deli sells me morning coffee, wishes me good luck. This is for the people in my neighborhood. They help me through the day and make me feel good. This buck's for you. And you and you and you. This buck's for you. And you and you and you. This buck's for bus drivers, cab drivers, local gas station guys, Sal and his brother make a mean pizza pie. Tattooed Tony in his cool muscle shirt. Maria on the corner looking good in a skirt. This is for the people in my neighborhood who help me through the day and make me feel good. This buck's for you. And you and you and you. This buck's for you.
When cold winds begin to blow and storm clouds start to grow.
With its legendary four-wheel drive capability,
Drive you to this
Jeep Grand Cherokee can go where no ordinary 4x4 can.
Raindrops find a freeze and
Sunday on the wonderful world of Disney, Brendan Fraser swings into action as George of the Jungle. Sunday on ABC.
Our aerial camera today is provided by Southwest Airlines. As you look down into FedEx Field, and we can tell you that Enhanced TV is online right now. You can get live up-to-the-minute stats, play a live interactive game. There's also trivia. You can get there by going to ESPN.com or NFL.com for Enhanced TV. Conway's kick. This is Ty Tolton. And the rookie taking the place of the injured Desmond Howard leaves the ball on the ground at the 32. There's a penalty flag down. He was hit by Larry Centers. It is Detroit's ball, and then we'll see about the flag. Bob McElwee, who has been the referee in 2 Super Bowls in his 20-year career, says it is holding against the Lions.
Well, it's a nightmare beginning for the Detroit Lions, and 2 huge penalties on the last series, and now a penalty here. A ball dropped. Gus Frerott's offhand is
holding number 59 of the receiving team during the return. 10 yards, first down.
Is hurt, and this is the recipe for disaster. Right now, the Detroit Lions have to somehow be able to keep the game close and not let it get away from them.
That's Andy Heck going back to the locker room for some attention. The penalty, meanwhile, on Detroit was on 59, Kevin O'Neill. And now Frerotte trying to do just that, keep him in the game early. After the penalty, back to the 22-yard line. 8:56 left in the opening period.
You have to be so careful not to let this game get away from you. You cannot have turnovers, no more penalties right now.
From the 22. Perrott going deep, and Morton stretching for it, but can't make the play. Johnny having his best year. Johnny Morton, who played his college ball at USC with 80 catches this season for 1,129 yards. And Darrell Green, at the age of 39, hanging with him.
Well, Darrell Green had a bout of bronchitis this week. The last 2 days he has been in bed, and you can see right there he's still got some good speed. Now, if Gus would have hung that ball up there a little bit, he might have had a completion. But talking to him before the game, you asked him, are you coming back next year? What did he tell you?
He gave me the most evasive answer I've ever heard. Second down and 10. Here's Schlesinger. He picks up 5. But Green looking for any edge. And I guess when you play that long, he said, you know what I may do today? I had bronchitis all week. I'm going to cough on the wide receivers. Scare them that way.
Well, you could see right there the speed of the Lion wide receivers. That's the matchup that you want, Al. That's the type of matchup you have to exploit. And there's Jim Zorn, the quarterback coach for the Detroit Lions. He called the plays last week in Minnesota because Sylvester Croom, the offensive coordinator, had a scare. We'll get into that in a moment.
But Croom is fine today, and there is Sylvester calling the plays, sending him down to Zorn. And then he communicates them into Perrott. Third down and 5. As Gus throws, caught, first down. That's Cedric Irvin. And he picks up the first down. The rookie out of Michigan State, they've been using him in third down situations this season. Tackled by Barber.
Well, if you want to talk about a weakness in the Redskin defense, it's back here at the linebacker position, and there is Cedric Irvin, who's had a nice year, nice pickup, a good draft for them. But you're talking about Sean Barber, Derek Smith, and Greg Jones, kind of in the script kind of linebackers. You don't really hear too much about them. And there's Bill Arnsparger, who was brought in here right after the bye to help Mike Nolan put this defense back together.
Nolan, the defensive coordinator, he was on the field. We had a shot at him a moment ago as Schlesinger gets taken down. There is Mike, son of Dick Nolan, formerly the coach of the San Francisco 49ers and New Orleans Saints. And Mike was one of those hot young assistants when he worked for Dan Reeves with the Giants. Then he comes here, and it's been the year from hell, frankly, for him, when you have the 30th ranked defense.
Well, you talk about a guy that's under some pressure. You have an owner that is in-your-face type of guy. He wants his defense to pick it up. They lost a couple tough games to the Cowboys early this season, and basically he has had to bear the brunt of all the negative press.
Second and 11, and Schlesinger gets taken down by Sean Barber. So the Redskin linebackers, who have been fairly nondescript this year, Barber and Smith and Jones, have all very much made their presence felt at the outset today.
Well, they sure have, and they've gotten better since the second half of the season. There's no question about that. But there's still too many breakdowns. They're too young, and most of them actually have admitted that they're still learning on the fly. Not a good situation if you're the Redskins, but they have played better, especially since Arnsparger's gotten here.
Third down and 12 out of the shotgun. Perrott, excellent protection. The ball is tipped, and it is incomplete. And Duque Kalu, a pass rush specialist, and Kennard Lang, they both come in pass rushing situations, knocking it down, and the Lions to punt. Brian Mitchell back to receive. The last time the Redskins were in the playoffs, Brian was there. In fact, he had a tremendous day against Minnesota in a wild card game after the '92 season to help beat the Vikings and Joe Gibbs last year. And he fair catches this one at the 13. So Washington taking over there with 6:04 to go in the opening quarter. Redskins 7, Lions nothing.
You know, people still ask me about the crash. I'm tired of talking about the crash. I mean, first of all, it wasn't even really a crash. 1929. That was a crash.
Yeah, that was bad.
98 was more like a market correction, typically defined by like 10-20% drop in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which if you consider the economic factors that are affecting the current risk premiums.
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm,
I guess it's not that surprising.
we created a smarter kind of investor.
What do you know about expense ratios?
An expense ratio is a percentage.
Look at that. So beautiful. Bellissimo. Be gentle. Hold it like this. Do not rush. Enjoy every moment. Ah, the onion. Such a beautiful thing.
Got to admit, it's getting better.
Philips High Definition TV. As real as it gets.
Presenting the new Italian Originals Pizza Trio from Domino's. Tender prosciutto, Italian sausage, tender prosciutto, spicy pepperoni. New Pizza Trio, $10.99, $10.99, $10.99.
New Domino's Italian Originals Pizza Trio. Prosciutto ham, Italian sausage, and spicy pepperoni. So much amore delivered hot for only $10.99.
If you're looking forward to the next millennium, better think again.
We have to save the world, my son.
Save the world? Gary Oldman and Bruce Willis, The Fifth Element, tonight 8/7 Central on ABC.
Back in our nation's capital, 7-0. A reminder that on the 29th of January, the day before the Super Bowl, Senior Skins, it will feature Nicholas, Palmer, Player, and Watson. That's the 29th of January, right here on ABC. As Stephen Davis breaks it, bad ankle and all, from his own 13, and finally caught from behind at the Detroit 29 by Bryant Westbrook. What bad ankle.
Oh. He certainly didn't look like a fullback there, Al, did he? He came flying through the holes. A nice lead block by Larry Centers, running right up in the middle here. And take a look at number 27, Mark Carrier, right there. He's blocked by number 83, the wide receiver. Nice read by Stephen Davis coming through the middle. Albert Cannell made a nice block at the point of attack, and that's how you get big runs. The wide receivers have to make the blocks downfield, Al.
And he does it off the left side where Kip Vickers has taken over at left tackle because Andy Heck, the left tackle, has a torn hamstring, and obviously he will not be back, and that pass is tipped. So the Redskins along their interior line lose Andy Heck. Claiborne tipped it, and Kip Vickers, fifth-year guy out of Miami, is the left tackle.
And they come running in right behind him, and they don't lose a beat. And the thing that I like about the Redskin offense, when they make a big play like that, they come right back and they look for some more by trying to throw the football. The Detroit Lion defense has got to somehow force a turnover.
One of the original Hogs, Russ Grimm, the offensive line coach of the Redskins. Second down and 10. Back to the ground to Davis, who picks up about 3. He's hit by Ron Rice. When the season began, they didn't know whether Davis would be the starting running back, or at least when training camp began, or Skip Hicks. They let Terry Allen go. He eventually wound up at New England. But Davis, who played fullback last year, he was the blocker for Allen, emerged in training camp and had a tremendous year.
Skip Hicks was the guy that was supposed to, I think that in the beginning of the year they thought he was going to be the guy. Then all of a sudden they found that they had that special back just sitting right there underneath their noses, and they just had to give him a chance.
Third down and 7 from the 26-yard line. And that is caught out in the flat, and diving for the first down is Larry Centers. And we'll see where they spot it. They put it down at the 18, and that will move the chains.
Now, so many key off-season acquisitions for the Washington Redskins. None more important than this guy right here. The things that he has done for them. Norv Turner told us yesterday that they tried to sign him a few years ago from the Arizona Cardinals as a free agent, and they couldn't get it done. They were about $100,000 short in contract negotiation, but this is the type of thing that he brings to your football team. He is a passionate football player when he gets that ball in his hands, and he will make the first down and a tough catch for you.
First and 10 from the 18-yard line as Johnson slings it to the outside. And that's intended for Michael Westbrook. You know, Boomer, you never want to make too much of something very early in the game. But with the way things have stacked up for Detroit coming in, on the road, 4 losses in a row, batch out, no running game, already down 7-0. This becomes a pretty vital defensive stop here.
It really does, and we talk about it every week, Al, when we get out. When you're on the road, the one thing that you don't want to allow happen is to let the crowd get into the game, and for the home team offense just kind of move down the field methodically and score a lot of points. You have to somehow create a turnover.
Second down and 10, or at least hold them to a field goal attempt. And it will be third down and 8 now after Stephen Davis picks up a couple to the 16.
But how many times have we seen where games have started out like this, where the one team is just so dominant, and all of a sudden things start happening, where injuries start piling up, and already Andy Heck is gone.
With the Lions, there it is, 17 regular season losses, 2 playoff games. They have never won a game here. The last time the Lions won a road game against the Redskins played in Boston in the mid-30s.
And how impressive is Bobby Ross's job been this year? Only 3 guys on this entire roster have played all 16 games at their original
3rd and 8, a big conversion to Steven Alexander for a first down to the 5. It'll be 1st and goal.
You can't let Brad Johnson sit back there and pick you apart. He's too smart. He can read defenses. The nice thing about Brad Johnson, I think, Al, is that he's finally really realized all of his potential. He has a nice touch on the ball. He throws a nice deep ball, and he's very smart. Look at this. The ball is out before the receiver even turns around. Alexander makes a nice catch, but that's why quarterbacks like he are so dangerous. They have all the intangibles and the ability to see the field and read defenses.
Larry Peccatello used to be a longtime assistant here in Washington, now the Lion defensive coordinator.
Listen, guys.
His group trying to stiffen on 1st and goal inside the 5. If the Redskins win today, they go to Tampa next weekend. If the Lions win this game, they go to St. Louis next weekend. 1st and goal. From the 4, Davis nearly untouched for the touchdown. Davis will go to the Pro Bowl. And the block was thrown by Trey Johnson, who will go to the Pro Bowl.
Well, if you're Ron Rice, the last thing you want to have to do is to take on a guard coming around the corner that weighs 330 pounds. And Trey Johnson is just that. He came around the corner, and he led Stephen Davis. Here he comes. And watch Davis get right in behind him like that. Woof. Nice play by Trey Johnson.
Brett Conway for the point after. So Davis, the key on that drive, the 58-yard run equaling a Redskin postseason record. Davis with 9 carries now for 73 yards, and the Skins 2 touchdowns, 14-0.
Faster, more reliable, higher quality, more profitable. Nortel Networks is building the new high-performance internet, and it can be whatever you want it to be. So tell us, what do you want the internet to be?
Come together right now over me.
Honey, I know it's your birthday tomorrow, but Mommy has to go away on a business trip. Tell you what, you know that new bike you wanted for your birthday? Mommy will get it for you. That new video game, huh? Okay, you tell Mommy what you want, whatever it is. You got it. Hey, happy birthday.
Visa Platinum, exceptional credit limit and worldwide acceptance. Purchase power for when it really counts.
Does this mean I can't get the bike?
It came from nowhere, baptized today on the hot sands of Daytona, where a mile measures the length of your nerve. They call these giants 300.
4 decades later, their fuel-injected descendant has arrived.
She's got some real fire in her belly.
Chrysler 300M, the most powerful sports sedan in its class.
Well, I reckon a fella can get used to winning in this car.
Chrysler 300M. Car and Driver's 10 Best 2 years running.
Kwan, Hamill, Bonali, Stoico. The biggest names put their reputations on ice. Kerry Lotion USA versus the World Figure Skating Challenge, Sunday.
Here's one of the classier men in sports, William Clay Ford, the longtime owner of the Detroit Lions. Right now, a little bit of concern etched on his face with his team down 14-0 in the first quarter. Conway's kick is fielded at the 7 by the rookie Ty Tolton, and he brings it back out to the 36. 2:20 remaining in the opening quarter in this NFC wild card game. 14-0 Redskins.
I'm not doing anything tonight, so call me.
In love with you. Say you love me.
Hey, Romeo. Grab a Bud Light.
Boys, this is my lucky. What is this, a 5 or a 6?
With a great taste that won't fill you up and never let you
Is it
down.
a 5 or a 6?
Make it a Bud Light.
That's a 4.
That's definitely a B.
4, maybe an F.
This is the workshop of radicals. A one-car garage where two young men with $500 in venture capital invented an industry. Their idea was simple. Invent something useful and significant, or it doesn't leave the garage. The idea was so simple, it was radical. Today, the company of Bill Hewlett and Dave Packard is being reinvented. The original startup will act like one again. Watch.
It's kind of like surf food as opposed to Mexican food. We're actually in the back of our main corporate office.
Dad was an original investor into the company.
He goes, this is my retirement money you guys are playing with, so make it count.
Now that we're growing, what we ran into is a lot of red tape.
And that's why I leave all the banking to my little brother Mingo. See, he's got the short area.
That's where Merrill Lynch has stepped up. Tom and Merrill have been real important.
They saw past the shorts and T-shirts.
Where else in the world can a Chinese guy sell Mexican food? If this isn't the American dream, I don't know what is.
Who wants to be a billionaire?
The original is back Sunday on ABC.
The practice returns tomorrow. One of the partners makes a confession. You have to see to believe on the practice tomorrow. 10 Eastern, 9 Central on ABC. Home of Super Bowl 34 and the NHL All-Star Game. From the 35-yard line. First down for the Lions. Trying to hang in the game. Action on the left side. That's the left tackle, Tony Ramirez, with a false start. It'll be first down and 15. This wild card game is being brought to you by Chrysler, giving you back the romance of driving. Charles Schwab, when we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we also created a smarter kind of investor. Budweiser, delivered fresh daily from our local brewery near you. And Phillips, technology that's making life a little better all the time. On first and 15, Barat throws, and that's caught by Herman Moore, who has been to the Pro Bowl on several occasions in his career, but this year 2 separate knee injuries have rendered him inactive throughout the first half of the season. The Lions this year, they won all 4 games against the eventual division champions, Seattle, Tampa Bay, St. Louis, and Washington. So they're able to respond on each occasion, but right now they've dug themselves a hole against the NFC East champs, as Tony Ramirez was moving again.
Now, they might call this one on the defensive line of the Washington Redskins because they actually moved and then Ramirez reacted to it. But they're not going to do that.
False start, 75, offense, 5 yards, second down.
Bobby saw the same thing you did.
Well, take a look here and you'll see. It's Marco Coleman, I believe. Right here at the bottom of your screen, there he is, and Ramirez reacts to it, and that was put in for the express reason that the home team uses the noise, and you can hear it right now. The offense cannot communicate right now, Al. It's the hardest thing to do on the road in a playoff game when you have a crowd like this, is to communicate with one another.
They give it to Schlesinger, and he can go nowhere. Marco Coleman wraps him up with 1.5 minutes to go in the opening period. Gus Frerotte, picked in the 7th round in '94. That was the year the Redskins banked their future on Heath Shuler. Remember, Shuler came out of Tennessee, 3rd guy in the draft. Frerotte was going to be Shuler's backup. And then 2 years later, Shuler was gone. There's Charlie Batch, who would be the Lions quarterback. And then Frerotte released by the Redskins. And now trying to beat his ex-mates as he flings it, and it's intercepted by the rookie Champ Bailey at the Washington 41.
Al, that interception should go to Kennard Lang. He was in the face of Gus Frerotte. We talked last night. to Norv Turner, but how do you defend Gus Frerotte? Obviously, you know what he does well and what he doesn't do well. Well, you got to get in his face, you got to disrupt him, and you got to make him nervous. He does not like to go through his progressions. He wants to throw the ball quickly, and right there, Kennard Lang hits him, and he forces a bad and accurate pass. This has the makings of a rout. And I don't know how much more you can ask the defense of the Detroit Lions to do, especially when you put them on a short field like this. A recipe for disaster for the Detroit Lions.
First down at the 39-yard line. Play fake to Davis, the pump fake, and then Johnson goes deep, and the pass is incomplete. The coverage was good as Bryant Westbrook stayed right with him through the play fake, through the pump fake. Albert Connolly, intended receiver.
But you're going to have a flag on the play out, and it's going to be roughing the passer against, I believe, Alan Aldridge, who hits Brad Johnson right in the head before he delivers the football, or right as he lets go of the football.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 55 defense, 15 yards, automatic first down.
Alan Aldridge is a blitzing linebacker right up the middle, and he hits Brad Johnson right in the face mask. You can't do it. You talk about making your own mistakes, and this is exactly what they're doing. There's no reason for that. Oh.
Crowd responding to the replay. Detroit, 6 penalties. Of course, the big one was the 41-yard pass interference call on Westbrook. From the 24, Davis falls down, loses the ball at the 23-yard line, and is able to maintain possession. So the Lions almost got the break they so desperately need right now, but Washington keeps possession. And the clock will tick down to end the first quarter. It'll be second down and 8 at the 22-yard line when play resumes. End of 1, Washington 14, Detroit nothing, and this wild card playoff will resume after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Look, Howie, your favorite. Miss, how can this cost more than $1? It's a piece of rope.
You can't get anything for $1 these days.
I get a 20-minute call for only 99 cents.
Have you been standing near the catnip?
Oh, he's talking about 10-10-220. It's only 99 cents for all calls up to 20 minutes and just 7 cents a minute after that.
All day, every day.
That's cheap.
Oh, yeah. And the best part is no monthly fees. No monthly fees.
Good. Those can be very irritating.
Dial 10-10-220. Right now, when you choose from the lowest priced minivan to the ultimate, you can get $1,500 cash allowance or 0.9% APR, which means you can save over $4,700 in finance charge savings on Chrysler Town & Country and the popular Voyager. Now, get $1,500 cash allowance for 0.9% APR on all minivans at your Chrysler and Plymouth dealer today.
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Are you ready for some football?
The biggest event in television is coming to ABC. Get ready for Super Bowl 34, Sunday, January 30th.
Unwanted hair. Rocky Mountain Laser Clinic, the leader in the hair removal industry, is the only clinic in Denver with the latest and leading-edge laser technology. Rocky Mountain Laser Clinic to remove hair from the widest range of skin types. Rocky Mountain Laser Clinic has treated over 10,000 clients in the past 50 years. Call us today for your free consultation.
Aerial camera provided by Southwest Airlines as we start the second quarter. Al Michaels with Boomer Esiason and Leslie Visser. Washington leading at 14-0, and the second quarter begins second down and 8 from the 22-yard line with Larry Centers picking up a yard.
Not one of the real strong suits for Larry Centers. He's not. It's an interesting dynamic the way he plays. He's great out in space when you throw him the football on wide patterns, and and you give him a chance to get out away from the defense. When you hand him the ball up the middle, for some reason, he doesn't see it quite as well. He doesn't have the great vision that a lot of the good running backs have, but he's a tremendous football player on the outside of the defense and has great hands.
Centers this year leading the team in receptions with 69. Brian Mitchell is in the game in the backfield on 3rd down and 6. Johnson to the left side, and it is caught by Connell, who gets tackled by J.B. Brown, who is able to stop him 2 yards shy of the first down. And now the Redskins will send their field goal unit out onto the field as Scott Kowalkowski needs some attention for Detroit.
Well, interesting watching the play of J.B. Brown. He was the cornerback out there, kind of hesitated. It looked like he could have made a break on the ball for an interception, but he sat there. And I think right now most of the secondary, especially the cornerbacks for the Detroit Lions, are a little shaky, a little scared about being beat deep, and they certainly don't want to cause any more penalties. Oh.
That's Kowalkowski and J.B. Brown knocking heads. So Scott is now sitting up, and he will get up and goes to the Lions sideline as Brett Conway comes in to attempt a 32-yard field goal.
Sort of a minor victory for the Detroit defense, Al, if they can keeping him here and giving him a field goal attempt.
Unless they fake it, because you've got the quarterback, Brad Johnson, holding, so anything can happen. 33 yards officially, and they'll settle for the 3-point attempt and manifest it. 13:50 remaining in the opening half as the Redskins move out to a 17-0 lead.
You know those people who always know the guy who knows the guy who can get the really good tickets?
OnStar.
And the impossible reservations at the restaurant?
You're confirmed for 8, Mr. Guarnieri.
And always know the best way to get there?
North on 5th.
Who do these people really know?
The fusion of design and technology.
Well, some of them know me.
Escalade, bold styling, and the executive assistance of OnStar. The power of and. The fusion of design and technology. Cadillac.
Someday, at a job interview, they'll ask, do you work well under pressure? Try not to laugh.
Hey, neighbor, can I borrow some ice?
Yeah, sure. Hold this.
Yep. Thanks. Got any sugar? Toothbrush? Hairdryer?
With more barbecue and cheddar flavor you can see, more you can taste on every chip and every bite. New Ruffles Flavor Rush potato chips keep you coming back for more.
Super Bowl Sunday, that's January 30th. It begins with the senior skins game. You've got Palmer, Nicholas, Player, and Watson. Then the Super Bowl 34 pregame show beginning at 2 o'clock Eastern time. And then the game itself, Super Bowl 34 from Atlanta at 6 Eastern time. This is Ty Talton running the kick back to the 27-yard line. And that's where Detroit will take over. If you missed it earlier, a wild one in Nashville. It looked like Buffalo would advance. And this coming with just seconds left in the game. Frank Wycheck throwing a lateral pass, and it was in dispute. They reviewed it, and the play on the field as called stood. Kevin Dyson making the catch. I think the call was right. He goes all the way to the end zone, and Tennessee goes all the way into the next round of the playoffs.
Oh, they had a high replay of that, Al, that might cause further dispute. I don't know. But that's why we have replay, to get those things correct.
Well, we were watching it as we were preparing for this one. The penalty here is against Detroit.
False start, 86, base.
That's David Sloan.
5 yards, first down.
Well, I was going to tell you here now, if you're the Detroit Lions, you cannot panic. Obviously, you can't keep killing yourselves like this, going backwards with penalties. You just have to try to methodically move the football down, get some sort of points on the football on the board. Try to collect your thoughts and relax a little bit.
First and 15, and that hits the umpire. And it'll be second and 15. Combat duty.
Boy, do they look out of sync and
terrible. Neil Garib is the umpire.
Norv Turner told us yesterday when Gus Frerotte takes his three-step drops, they want to get guys in his face, and you can see right here, he has a tough time seeing downfield, and he's trying to hit Herman Moore behind the umpire. I say go down the field, down the sideline.
Second and 15, and that's over the middle, intended for Sloan. And that is incomplete. He's covered on the play by Sam Shade. It'll be third down and 15.
Anything to loosen it up at all. Just use your big receivers, go down the field, look for a pass interference, anything to kind of get you some momentum. Right now, they are struggling with their short passing game. They can't run the football. They're committing way too many penalties.
Third and 15 from the 22, and the crowd is fully into it. Four-man rush. Frerotte throws. That's caught by Crowell, but he gets tackled at the 28-yard line, well short of the first down, and it's 3 and out again for Detroit. Sean Barber with the coverage.
3 and out because on first down, you have a penalty by Sloan. It moves you back. Third and 15 on the road. Your success ratio is not going to be very high.
Brian Mitchell back to receive the kick. John Jett to punt. Wobbly, low, bouncing kick. Mitchell fielding on a hop at the 38, and the coverage is good for Detroit, knocking him back to the 36-yard line. And there's a marker down back at the 20-yard line against Detroit. The agonized special teams coach right there is Chuck Prefer. Now Washington has the option.
You want to talk about agonizing right there, the head coach, Bobby Ross.
Offensive holding on the wingback. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Fourth down.
And Bobby Ross was so confident before the game when I was speaking to him, Al. He just said, hey, if we could just keep our wits about us, we'll be all right. Certainly things have kind of unraveled kind of quickly as soon as they came out. Penalties, long penalties, offsides, illegal motion, you name it, they've done it.
Forced to use a timeout on the first series of the game.
Well, I didn't mind that because I felt like Gus Frerotte had hurt his hand and he didn't feel comfortable about receiving the ball from center. Okay, no problem. Err conservatively if you're going to, and that's fine. But since that time, it's been all downhill.
Pretty much downhill since December 5th when they beat the Redskins, coming in with 4 straight losses, and Jets kick this time. Pulled in at the 40 by Mitchell. And Bryant takes it to the Lion 49-yard line. Less than 3 minutes into the second period, 17-0 Redskins.
When you coach the junior gymnastics team, you do most of the exercise. So muscle aches are out of the question. There you go. That's why I take Advil every time. It's strong enough to get the job done. This is a very safe sport, as long as I can keep up. So I trust Advil. Absolutely nothing's been proven stronger in even tough pain. These kids depend on me, and I depend on Advil.
Advil, stronger than pain.
Now take a journey to a beautiful, happy place. And Debbie, 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 where are you? In a beautiful garden. Brad?
I'm on a sandy beach.
Richard?
I'm at my computer trading stocks on Ameritrade for $8.
$8? Flat rate?
$8. I'm off the beach. I'm trading stocks.
Chance with the freedom Ameritrade brings.
Trading with Ameritrade.
Ameritrade is very relaxing.
2000 Seville STS. More than just a pretty face. Enhanced with StabiloTrack 2.0, it handles superbly on dry roads, wet roads, and outperforms BMW, Lexus, and Mercedes-Benz. On ice. Seville STS, sleek styling and powerful control. The power and the fusion of design and technology. Cadillac.
Think they've shocked you before? You won't believe the new surprises they've got coming in the new year. An all-new practice returns ABC Sunday, 10/9 Central.
Who are the best ever to play on Monday night? Go to Monday Night Football online now to cast your vote at ESPN.com or NFL.com. The all-time team will be announced Super Bowl Sunday right here on ABC. 17-0 Washington, and the Redskins have it at the Lion 49-yard line, beginning this series with Davis swinging to the left side, picking up 4. Steven to the 45, tackled by Stephen Boyd. Leslie Visser, what you got, Les?
Alan Boomer, it's been a difficult week for Detroit tackle James Jones. On Tuesday, his wife Sanjay underwent a kidney and pancreas transplant at the University of Wisconsin Medical Center in Madison. She is in stable condition. She's doing very well, pictured with their daughter Morgan. And the great news, in about 2 months, she should be able to resume a normal life. James was relieved, tired, but very thankful. You mentioned William Clay Ford. He got a private plane to hire him, bring him here.
Thank you, Les. Stephen Davis breaks another one and then goes out of bounds at the 12-yard line. Albert Connell through the block to Stringham.
You know, they're running right up the middle, Al, and when you're able to run against Luther Ellis and James Jones, I mean, that's saying something about your offensive line. And Stephen Davis is able to pick his way through there, and another great block by Albert Connell downfield. That's how you spring for those long runs. You need receivers who will give it up downfield for you. Take a listen. Oh, you can see he doesn't go down. And that's what truly makes a great back. Breaking that first tackle and not going down, and then be able to get out into the secondary.
From the 13. Davis to the 6-yard line, right through the middle. Bobby Jackson coordinates the running game, and he has to be of
good
course
coordination going on here, I can tell you that.
117 yards for Stephen Davis. The big question around here for the last 3 days, what about Davis's ankle? Could he play? How effective could he be?
I think he's answered all those questions.
I believe so, with about 9 exclamation points.
Well, Norv Turner told us that he was 90%. Could you imagine if he was 100%?
Yeah. I think he's more like what George Allen used to say around here, 110%. 2nd and 3. And he gets taken down from behind by Chris Claiborne. Davis in the first quarter was able to break one as he moved 58 yards here, tying Timmy Smith for the longest run in postseason Redskins history. Touchdown number 1 there, touchdown number 2 there. And Stephen right now, 14 carries, 118 yards on 3rd down and 2.
Stephen Davis is making a statement. He wants everybody in the NFL to know that he had a chance to win that rushing title, and he's trying to do it here all in one night.
To the outside he swings, and then he turns it back upfield and gets taken down at the 5-yard line by Mark Carrier. Lost the ball, but they said he was down at the 4.5. And that is Stephen Davis on the turf as the crowd holds its breath for the moment.
Take a look at his left knee. Let's see if it hits the ground or not.
Well, it's on top of the Lion. It's on top of Carrier's knee.
But the official was emphatic when he came in, and he said that the runner was down by contact. But take a look at here. And Stephen Boyd forces the fumble.
Not reviewable because the whistle had blown. It'll be 4th and 1 when we come back after this injury timeout. Injury to Davis.
You guys are in here again? I can't believe this. You're always in here nursing your injuries. I have never seen such a group of cream puffs in my life. This is football. I need guys that can play.
Man, I thought he'd never leave.
With a great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light.
Hot dog, anyone?
It's form that touches our lives, and function that enlivens it. It's poetry that clutches the heart, and technology that makes it race. It's science that makes us see, and design that makes our eyes wide. It's the fusion of all these things. That is the power of and. The power of and. The fusion of design and technology. Cadillac.
At Nokia, we've discovered our phones are a lot like pets. They somehow seem to resemble their owners. Nokia. Connecting people.
Tuesday at 10/9 Central.
Remember me?
Blue is back. The season premiere of NYPD Blue. Tuesday, 10/9 Central on ABC.
ABC Sports playoff coverage is online with post-game analysis and game updates at ESPN.com. Stephen Davis able to trot off the field, and now Brett Conway will attempt a 23-yard field goal. Brad Johnson to put it down, and on 4th and 1, Conway puts it through with 9:50 to go in the opening half. Washington leading 20-0, and the way Davis came off the field, Boomer, it doesn't appear to be serious.
He ran off the field, and looks like they're looking at his left knee. He might have been kicked by Mark Carrier, the safety, during the tackle. And the way he got up and ran off the field, it was like he was running a 40-yard dash.
It's kind of like the scene in Jerry Maguire, wasn't it?
Show me the money.
Well, when Tidwell was hurt at the end of the game.
Yes, give me some airtime.
Is that the guy's name?
Well, you were in the movie, weren't you?
Yeah, but doesn't mean I can remember anything. Rod Tidwell, that was it.
So there he is running off the field. Doesn't look like there's too much bothering him there. But he's the unquestioned leader of this football team. You know, before this year, what was he known for? He and Michael Westbrook got into a little fight, and Michael hit him pretty good and knocked him down. And now all of a sudden,
cost Michael some money, a lot of money.
That's right, and now all of a sudden he's assumed the leadership role for the Redskins and has really shown some heart.
Brett Conway to kick off. Ty Tolton from the goal line brings it back to the 23, and he gets popped there by Eddie Mason. Fight we refer to took place a couple of years ago in training camp. There it was.
Oh, man.
That's Westbrook and Stephen Davis. Oh. And that was
that's not a good-looking scene right there, Al.
That was the biggest story around here for about 2 weeks.
You know, Michael Westbrook has grown up quite a bit over the last few years, and we had asked Norv Turner what was the deal with him and how is he playing. He says, you know, he never really had a mentor. He never really had anybody show him how to get it done, and he's certainly become much more of a force this year. His first year over 1,000 yards in receiving.
Now the Lions try to get something started, and a big run from Schlesinger. So Corey, who is starting at running back today, gets to the 40 again. When Sanders retired, they had to go to Ron Rivers at first, and Rivers was the seldom used backup to Barry. Sylvester Croom calling the plays, and Rivers was hurt. Then they traded for Greg Hill from the Rams, and he was not really effective.
Well, Barry Sanders put this team in a huge hole, retiring on July 28th, right before training camp, Al. And they had to go out and try to get somebody back there to hand it off to, and that's when Greg Hill came in, and certainly he has not lived up to their expectations either.
From the 41-yard line on first down. Surratt throwing, and it's almost picked off by Darrell Green. Knocks it away. And Duque Kalu put the pressure on that time. Might have gotten a finger on it.
Well, the thing that I would do is I would be dropping back and throwing the ball deep down the sideline. That, again, that's where your matchups are. That's what you want to do. That's where you want to exploit it. They're trying to run little out patterns right here, and you can see Darrell Green still has great change of direction, and he can read routes better than most cornerbacks in the league. He's seen just about everything.
2nd and 10 from the 41.
Here's Gus audibling at the line of scrimmage
with 80,000 in full throat. And it's caught by Johnny Morton, who steps out of bounds at the 47, setting up a 3rd down and let's call it 4.
You know, going back to Darrell Green, Al, there's Bobby Ross. We were talking to him before the game. Now, he's been dealing with bronchitis. He spent 2 days in bed this week, and you have to wonder where his stamina is right now. And I would think that your thought process would be when you get down around 1st down, 2nd down, run them down the field and see if you can get them tired and then take advantage of them. I mean, he is 39 years old, right?
That's what Jack Benny used to tell us, too. And the slant, Morton looks for the flag, doesn't get it. The coverage is by Green. I'd rather be Green.
And this is what you're talking. And you can see Farad is screaming. He wants pass interference, but when you're going against an older cornerback like this, he knows how to read routes. He watches a lot of film, and he can make the break on the ball. He's there quickly. And you have to wonder why. You know, you think officials give a guy like that a little bit of a break? And I don't know what my. I would think if I were Gus Farad, I'd be screaming that you're giving him a break because he's Darrell Green.
You do build up some currency after 16 seasons. Darrell's case, 17 seasons. Jets kick. Mitchell lets it bounce at the 6, and the Lions get a break as the ball dies on the turf at the 6-yard line. 8:09 to the half, with Washington leading Detroit 20-0.
When it comes to traditional luxury, it's anything but more of the same. Yeah! Introducing the all-new 2000 Bonneville. Screaming with attitude you'd never expect in a luxury sports sedan. More luxury. More attitude. The all-new 2000 Bonneville by Pontiac.
I'm going with extra pickles. Pickles? I hate pickles. Onions rule, man. Give me extra onions, no tomatoes.
Tomatoes are key. I mean, pickles and tomatoes are like the yin and yang of the Whopper.
Look, you get your yin and yang and leave my onions alone, okay?
Okay. But you're wrong.
Hey, it's just a choice.
Yeah, and you choose to be wrong.
Oh, I'm Mike.
And I'm Jack. And that's my Whopper. It's my Whopper, and it's my $2.
Just when you think you have the latest computer, you don't. But for $37 a month, you can get a PC that's never outdated. A Gateway PC with the YourWare program. You can trade it in after 2 years toward the purchase of a new one, featuring the Intel Pentium 3 processor. Call 1-800-GATEWAY.
Tuesday, it's Dharma and Greg and his new secretary. And the new secretary and Dharma? Wow! Don't ask, just watch. All new Dharma and Greg, Tuesday on ABC.
Back at FedEx Field, bad news for Redskins fans. Stephen Davis, after 119 yards and 2 touchdowns, is out for the game with a mild sprain of his right knee. It was somewhat hyperextended on the last play. It is enormously disappointing news for him and for the team. Al.
All right, thank you, Leslie. At least Washington has a 20-0 lead, and they have Skip Hicks replacing him. And here's our first look at Skip up to the 9. So Davis went down, and then he trotted off the field. We showed you that while we're in commercial and then played the tape for you. It appeared to be fine, but he's done for the rest of the day, and now they have to think about next week if there is a next week.
Well, Al, I said at the beginning of the game, we want to see how long Stephen Davis could last. And this is the point where he leaves the game. Now we have to wonder whether or not the momentum will switch to the side of the Detroit Lions. You saw the big plays that he brought to this offense. A lot of pressure on Skip Hicks trying to duplicate that. And right now you can see the Redskins are a little bit out of sync of sorts, having to call timeout right here.
20-0, Washington
30 seconds
on top
timeout
with 7:35 left in the half.
Detroit was last night.
Want to get away? Now you can. Fly Southwest Airlines coast to coast for $99 or less when you purchase tickets by February 2nd and travel Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday.
You are now free to move about the country.
Almost a surreal scene in the dusk here in our nation's capital, just outside. Actually, Landover, Maryland is where we are as play resumes. Second down and 8 from the 9-yard line. 20-0 Washington. And this is Hicks again, and he gets bunched up at the 11-yard line. And stopped there by Stephen Boyd.
And Al, you can see right now, all of a sudden, the running game isn't what it was when Stephen Davis was in the game. And early on, we talked about it. If you lose a guy like Stephen Davis, now what do? Now all of a sudden somebody else has got to try to pick up the slack and skip Hicks. But now we should start seeing a little bit more of Westbrook and Connell downfield and Larry Centers in the third down package. This is where the Detroit defense for the first time has got a chance to make a play right here.
At this exact spot, 3rd down and 5, and make them punt from deep in their own territory. Big defensive play for Detroit. Centers makes the catch, and with that spin move still can't pick up the first down. So the Lions are able to hold. That's Lamar Campbell stopping him, and Washington will have to punt from deep in its own territory.
So you can see that Stephen Davis is the heartbeat of the Redskin offense, and without him out there, 3 plays and out for the first time.
Matt Turk to punt. Ihani Uwezike to return it. Low liner. Uwezike fumbles at the 48-yard line and then recovers it himself at the 45-yard line. So Detroit gets it at the Washington 45. He ruled the ring, bowed to no one. The world premier Muhammad Ali, King of the World, Monday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on ABC, the home of Super Bowl 34 and the NHL All-Star Game.
Al, I've played in games just like this where you get down and all of a sudden I've been on both sides of the ball where the team that's up kind of relaxes a little bit, and then all of a sudden a big play kind of ignites and you get momentum back on your side. 20 points is not a lot of points in the NFL.
First down at the 45-yard line. Especially not against a Washington defense that is next to last in the league, even though they have played better of late. And they look like anything but the next to last defense in the league right there as Dan Wilkinson takes care of Schlesinger. Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson.
Well, Big Daddy and I played together in Cincinnati. He was a huge disappointment for the Cincinnati Bengals. They had pinned their hopes on both he and Kajana Carter, both first-round draft choices at the top of the drafts. And he was traded here, and I was asking Norv Turner last night about his development, and he says, you know, he's done okay for us. Not a ringing endorsement.
Yeah.
But for the money he's making, he's got to be better than okay.
A lot better than okay. Farad on 2nd and 12. Throws intended for Morton. Covered by Green. 3rd down.
Watching Gus Farad, you could see what Norv Turner was telling us. He has a little trouble getting to his 2nd or 3rd receiver. That time he was reading to his right. Came all the way across the formation. And then threw an inaccurate football. So Norv Turner's defending him much better this time around than last time.
Farad, like the Lions themselves, much better at home than on the road this season. 6'2" in the Silverdome, 2'6" in the unfriendly confines. Hit, fumble, loose at the 43-yard line. And Detroit is able to recover as Sam Shade came in, dislodged the football, and Jeff Hardings, at least for the moment, saves the day for Detroit.
This is just an all-out blitz to the backside of Gus Farad, and Sam Shade comes clean, and Gus has got to see that. He's got to get rid of the football. This is not a blocking problem. This is just basic defense where they beat you, and you'll see Sam Shade come right up the middle right there. And you can see that he's untouched. And Gus Farrad's got to see that and make the play and deliver the football and get rid of it.
John Jett, high floating kick. Fair catch called for by Mitchell. 4:55 remaining in the half. Washington with the ball back and a 20-0 lead. This wild card playoff game is being brought to you by Cadillac. The power of and the fusion of design and technology. E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. And 10-10-220, dial it, and your long distance calls could cost under $1.
Well, the Lions squander an opportunity. They have the ball for the first time over the Redskins 50 and don't make anything out of it. And their defense, the Redskin defense, basically comes up with a big stop. But again, the Lion defense is going to have to force a turnover, make a play, score some points, kind of break loose a little bit.
From the 18-yard line, they give it to Skip Hicks, who picks up about 3. It'll be 2nd down 7. Redskins with a victory would go to Tampa next weekend. If Detroit wins this game as the #6 seed, the lowest seeded team in the NFC, they would then play the highest seeded team, and the high seed is the St. Louis Rams.
Well, I wouldn't put them in Tampa Bay just yet.
Nope. 2nd down and 8 from the 20-yard line. Brad Johnson nimbly buys time, then throws, caught 32-yard line by Michael Westbrook. His first reception of the game.
You know, when you look at Brad Johnson, you see how big he is. You don't think that he has the type of movement that would enable him to get out of the pocket and make a play like that, but he's a terrific athlete. And that time he was chased by Robert Forshea, and nice catch on the sideline by Michael Westbrook, keeping his feet in ground close to a juggling act.
Yes. Johnson is 6 of 11 for 57 yards. They go back to the ground and they give it to Hicks, and he takes it out to the 33-yard line.
Now watching this, you could see with no Stephen Davis, all of a sudden the Redskin offense just doesn't look quite as dynamic as it did earlier in the game. And when you have that power running back like that, so many things kind of grow off play action passes. He makes guys miss. He makes great runs. And it kind of inspires his offensive linemen as well.
It's also reflected in the crowd.
Yes, you can hear this quiet. They're wondering why he's not. It has not been announced to the Redskins fans, but they know that he's not out there.
2nd down and 8. The decibel level about half as much as it was when Stephen was in the game. Hicks. And he gets out to the 46, and that will move the chains. Tackled by Bryant Westbrook. Under 3 minutes now to the half.
And this is Brad Johnson not forcing anything downfield. And Skip Hicks is a good receiver. He can make guys miss, but it's just the quarterback finding the open zone and just taking it and just giving his running back an opportunity to make some plays with the football.
First and 10, Washington from the 46-yard line. Blitzing, and they pick it up, and it gives Johnson the time to go deep, and it is somehow almost caught by Westbrook, but incomplete. He couldn't hang on. Covered by Bryant Westbrook, no relation.
And you could see Bryant Westbrook pleading his case. He thought that Michael Westbrook actually pushed off, and he probably did, got away with it a little bit, but when you look back at the beginning of the play, Larry Centers makes a nice block on a blitzing safety to enable Brad Johnson to get the ball downfield. But take a look at this. Let's see if Michael Westbrook gets away with a push here. I would a little shaky.
Yep. Right call, no flag. 2nd down 10. 46 of the Redskins as Johnson sets up a screen. Caught by Hicks into Lion territory. First down, gets to the 39-yard line, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to the half. The Washington Redskins 20 and the Detroit Lions nothing.
Get your hands up! Get your hands up! Go! Thank you, Detroit!
Detroit was last night.
Want to get away? Now you can. Fly Southwest Airlines coast to coast for $99 or less when you purchase tickets by February 2nd and travel Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday.
You are now free to move about the country.
And the snow emergency is still in effect. In other news, the market rebounded today.
Ooh, the market. Gene, buy one of them tech stocks.
Shake it off.
No, invest in pork belly.
No! Dump your money in plastics.
While you're buying things, why don't you buy me some legs?
It's time for E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online.
I'd like my spleen back, too. I don't know where it is.
The rugged Montana from Pontiac. With not one, but 2 sliding doors. Something handy for whoever's passing through. Life is more exciting in Montana.
Did you remember the milk? It's the start of a brand new century.
The next millennium will be spectacular.
Time for one show that's ahead of its time. An all-new Sports Night, Tuesday, 9:30, 8:30 Central on ABC.
Back in Washington. If you missed it earlier, the Tennessee Titans winning in a thriller on a lateral pass from Frank Wycheck to Kevin Dyson to knock off Buffalo. Boomer, they put replay in for situations like that. They got it right on the field, and replay confirmed they got it right.
Well, you think they got it right. I'm not so sure.
Really?
But, you know, that's what it's all about last year, as you see Stephen Davis leaving the field. Last year, in the New York Jets-Seattle game, Vinny Testaverde was awarded a touchdown, and the reason that they put instant replay in was because of that, is to make sure that the team that wins the game is the team that's supposed to win the game,
right,
without any interference or wrong calls, basically.
At least they had the mechanism in place. Can you imagine had they made the wrong call in that Buffalo-Tennessee game, and then it was confirmed that it was wrong in a replay, and you didn't have the machinery in place? At least the machinery's in place now.
A few bumps, no question about that, but certainly it is, I think it's been effective this year, and it certainly works, and it will get better as we go on.
Second down and 1 as Johnson retreats. And that is caught at the 11-yard line, taken in by Connell, and he gets up and goes into the end zone. Johnson to Connell.
And now it's just Connell one-on-one with Bryant Westbrook, and he does a nice job of selling the fake outside, comes across the middle. I think Bryant Westbrook is going to have a hard time sleeping tonight. Take a look at this. It's a nice setup inside, turns Westbrook around, and then he comes back out against the grain. Very nice play by Connell.
For the point after. They have 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals, a 27-0 lead, and at least the beginnings of an itinerary for a trip to Florida.
Well,
they go to Tampa if they win the game. Now, we talked about the Titan-Bills game. If you've been out during the day and haven't seen this yet, after Buffalo had taken a 2-point lead with seconds to go in the game, it was Frank Wycheck lateraling it to Kevin Dyson at the 25-yard line.
That is so
very close. But I thought it was the right call, confirmed.
And what made that play work out was because the kickoff only went to about the 25-yard line. If they would have kicked it back to the 10 or the 5-yard line, they wouldn't have had a chance to run that play.
And then Dyson was able to go 75 yards down the sideline and score. And the final score was 22-16. So the Titans move on, and the Bills have a long winter to think that one over.
I was asking you, is it worse to lose by a big margin like the Detroit Lions are doing now, or to lose a game tight like the Titans did?
That's
excruciating. The Buffalo Bills.
18-yard line, Cedric Irvin brings it back to the 29. The Skins have scored on 5 of their 6 possessions, and the Lions have punted on 5 of their 6, and the other possession ended with an interception. That is ugly with a capital U.
You know, what you don't see there, Al, is the Skins were lining up for a punt. The Lions committed a penalty running into the punter and gave the ball back to Washington. So in essence, 2 turnovers.
Very early in the game. That came on the very first series. Set the tone. Ron Rivers is in the game and running back for Detroit. Surratt throws, and that is caught by Jermaine Crowell. He's up to the 40-yard line. That's a first down.
Boy, if they can get some points on here, at least they can go into the locker room with some momentum and feel good about something that they accomplished.
They have 2 timeouts. 50 seconds to the half. Surratt throws, and it's dropped by Morton. Holding over the middle.
And you could see Mike Nolan blitzing there, not just sitting back in some sort of prevent defense. He wants to force Gus Frerotte to make the decisions, and it seems to me a little bit right now that Gus is a little bit shaky in the pocket. And this guy here, Mike Nolan's been under so much scrutiny this year, so much so that they bring in Bill Arnsparger, but the last few weeks they've played very well.
That's what we have at the Lexus halftime show. Chris and Steve from New York. Highlights of the Bills-Titans game. 2nd down and 10. That's tipped up in the air. That is picked off at the 44 by Matt Stevens, who led the team in interceptions during the regular season with 6. It was tipped by Ndukwe Kalu, a pass rush specialist, and that's why he is in situations like that. He has done that time and again this year. Gets his hand up, puts the pressure on the quarterback. There's a flag down at the end of the play at the 44-yard line.
Personal foul, number 23, after the play ended, of the intercepting team. That's a 15-yard penalty. They keep the ball. First down.
Now, what does Matt Stevens have to be angry about?
I don't know. Well, maybe somebody did something to Matt to provoke Matt.
I think Tony Semple, the left guard for the Lions, came down and gave him a little shove afterwards. I'm not sure if that was him, but we'll see. Kalu does a nice job of getting his hands up, and that ball seems like it's up there forever. Yep, and there is Semple coming in late. And there's Stevens jamming the ball into his face mask. Talk about insult to injury.
Yeah, the penalty should have been on Semple. It's like a lot of hockey fights, right?
Yeah.
You don't see the first hit, and the other guy winds up in the penalty box.
Well, to go back to Kalu, his nickname is ND, and Kalu means God of Thunder in Igbo. How about that, Al?
He is thunderous.
He is thunderous, especially the pass rush.
From the 40, they give it to Brian Mitchell, and he takes it to the 45 of Detroit. With a half a minute, and Washington takes a timeout. Mark Carrier makes the tackle. 1 timeout left for the Skins.
Now, I'm going to tell you a story. In 1984, that man right there, Bobby Ross, was the head coach of the University of Maryland. I was a rookie for the Cincinnati Bengals. His team was down 31-0 to the University of Miami of Florida. He took his team in at halftime and absolutely ripped them, and for about 15 minutes just basically laced into his football team. A guy by the name of Frank Wright came out, and he led them back to an improbable victory, the greatest comeback in NCAA history, 42-40. Can they do it again?
Boomer, I love the way you keep an audience.
I gotta tell you,
you've learned. I'm very good.
I'm trying, man. I am trying.
Right. You want to bring up the Bills-Oilers game from a couple of years ago?
Well, you know who that quarterback was, right?
Frank Wright.
But he's not here today.
A few years ago, 1st and 10, and that's dropped by Steven Alexander. Well, Bobby, I would imagine will have a few choice words at halftime.
When you see Bobby Ross there, he's not a big guy. He's not an imposing figure, but the words that come out of his mouth, he's an amazing coach. He really is. And what Barry Sanders did to this football team prior to the season is so shocking, because he wrote him a 10-page letter. They tried to contact him about 15 different, that 10-page letter, and they tried to contact him 15 times and nothing until July 28th.
And then the contact was, I retire, in a statement, not even a phone call. Little floater, screen pass, centers, takes it to the 39, then tries to flip the ball out of bounds to save a timeout, but the official is there and says, no, keep the clock wound down.
And they have to take the timeout, but Larry Centers is always thinking. Those
Right.
are the instincts of a great football player, especially when he's near the sideline. Also dangerous at times.
Boomer, with Barry Sanders, by the way, having retired, there is an arbitration hearing in San Francisco before an arbitrator by the name of Sam Cagle, who's been around a long time, has arbitrated a lot of major cases through the years. The Lions paid Barry an $11 million signing bonus when they signed him to his deal that is now in effect. And Barry wants to keep the money. The Lions say you owe us $5.5 million. What the Sanders camp would also like to have happen is they are, it's my understanding, going to offer the 5.5 back if they give Barry his release, which I don't think is going to happen. Brad Johnson going for the end zone, and that's broken up at the last moment, broken up by Bryant Westbrook.
Well, Bryant finally made a play, but Al, to go back to Barry Sanders, there's no way the Lions are going to release him. I mean, that's basically the crux of all NFL contracts. The teams want to be able to. And there's Mr. Ford, the owner of the Detroit Lions. They'll never let him go. I mean, they want to control player movement, and that's the way to do it.
Well, another look at the play here.
Nice D by Bryant Westbrook.
To Chuck Schmidt, their general manager, before the game. He says Barry is our player. He's on our roster. If he stays retired, that's fine. If he comes back, he's our player. We'll welcome him back.
Well, the interesting thing is going to be the salary cap situation for the Detroit Lions next year.
This is a 4th down play, 4th and 3. Johnson airing it out. A lot of contact down inside the 5, and then it's knocked down by Mark Carrier with 4 seconds to play in the half.
I don't know if I think he was trying to catch it. It'd be a tough spot to catch it. Now, if you're the Detroit Lions, give it a shot, throw it down the field. You have nothing to lose.
Right.
And he's trying to actually catch that ball.
Which would have cost him about 38 yards.
It worked out for them. But I would think that if you're the Detroit Lions, you have nothing to lose. And you have all these big receivers. Just let them run down the field and throw it and see what happens. See if you can make something out of it. The Redskins got 3 guys about a mile back.
Launching it, looking for a penalty if nothing else.
He's got it.
Juggled, he's caught. It's caught, but they're going to stop him about 3 yards shy of the goal line. Herman Moore came down with the bouncing ball, the deflected football, but couldn't get in.
You never know. You never know, and I don't know why more teams just don't do that.
Well, the half cannot end more frustratingly for the Detroit Lions. Dominated by Washington. 27-0 is the score, and the Lions come this close to making it 27-7.
Oh, boy.
2 yards. But it's 27-0 at the half. The Lexus halftime show coming up from New York. And back we come after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations.
You can turn hopes and dreams into reality when you give through the United Way. At this learning center, those with developing disabilities are getting the vital help they need. Together, we're solving problems, getting results you can see. The NFL, the United Way, and you, the power of teamwork.
I'm ready to rumble. I'm gonna beat you like a dog. I'm your daddy today.
That's right. Beat him like
I told you I was coming.
right.
You thought that it was over, didn't you? You thought you had a chance, but I'm here today. I told you I was coming.
Once in a century, along comes a man whose strength and courage raises him above all others.
I am the greatest.
This is how he got there.
This is my history today.
Terrence Howard and the practices Steve Harris star in Muhammad Ali, King of the World. Monday, 9, 8 Central on ABC.
I'm gonna shake up the world.
Everyone's trading on the internet. How risky can it be? I invest for the long term.
Oh, I'm on target for my retirement.
Let's be honest. Smart investing takes timely, objective advice tailored to your specific needs. The kind of information you get from Dane Rauscher. It's what you need to know.
So, Doctor, you've been studying the effects of Red Bull for months. What exactly have you discovered?
Energy boundaries and biorhythmic fluctuations can make it difficult to maintain a baseline reading of muscular contraction and neurotransmittable impulses, of course. Unique the oxyribonucleic acidity and orbital phases of gravitational fluctuations can indeed result in a fibromyalgic Red Bull type of situational relevance as well, but we've calibrated the amounts of available regenerative tolerances.
Can you say that in English?
Simple, little man. Red Bull gives you wings.
First with HD TV in Colorado. Channel 7, the reason to watch.
Welcome to the Lexus Halftime Show, brought to you by Lexus and our relentless pursuit of perfection. Now, from our New York studio, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Well, once again, everybody, along with Steve Young. Well, 27-7, the Lions came from behind at Kezar at the 57 playoffs, so crazier things have happened. It's 27-0 at Washington. Actually, crazier things happened about 2 hours ago at Tennessee with the finish of the Titans-Bills game.
I lost my voice screaming. How about shoeless Rob Johnson towards the end, taking the lead, and then the Deacom kickoff return. Jeff Fisher practiced it yesterday. Shocking that a team would have the foresight to practice a play like that the day before.
Things really got interesting about the 6-minute mark left in this game, with Buffalo with the lead, and Frank Wycheck started to make his big presence felt. With a score 13-12 Bills, the ball is off the elbow of the Bills. John Holisek into the hands of Wycheck. Keeping a drive alive that Al Del Greco finishes with a field goal, 15-13 Tennessee. But shoeless Rob Johnson, as you say, Steve, 3 for 4 on a drive. Steve Christie, 41-yard field goal. Good! 16 seconds left, and the Bills have beaten this franchise again in the playoffs. The Bills have beaten now Tennessee 16-15. But kickoff, Lorenzo Neal alertly hands to Frank Wycheck, who throws across the field on the 25. Kevin Dyson slices. He could go all the way, 75 yards. The first time a playoff game in NFL history has ever ended on a kickoff return. The Bills obviously stunned as the Titans turn the tables on that 41-38 blockbuster in 92 against this franchise, winning in unbelievable fashion, 22-16. Afterwards, obviously, the gamut of emotions.
We work on all those kinds of scenarios. We have the philosophy that it really is never over till it's over, and we work on these things. We worked on them yesterday.
I hope, just for the ref's sake, that it was legit, because that's everywhere we're getting is that it wasn't. And then you had the first half. They won't even review Peerless's call, and I guess he caught that ball. I don't know where he was at, but then, we at least get a field goal out of that. They go down and get a field goal. I don't know. I hope all their calls were right.
Rob Johnson and the Bills understandably distraught. But the question that many folks may have, what about the pass? We showed you the slow motion was right along the line. Now, any pass from the NFL rulebook, not forward, is regarded as a backward pass. Pass parallel to the line is a backward pass. A runner, in this case, Frank Wycheck, may pass backward at any time. And there's no way whatever call, Steve, they had made on the field, and they called it good at the time, that they could have overturned after looking at it 3 or 4 times. But Buffalo besides itself, obviously.
It's unbelievable. And then you think about, the only way that Rob Johnson gets any solace, and he did what he had to do at the end of that game to take the lead. The only way he finds solace is called John Elway.
John Elway, but not Denver's John Elway.
Not Denver John Elway.
Stanford's John Elway. Do you remember? Of course you do. His final college game, Stanford against Cal. 1982, 20-19, Stanford leads until unbelievable events. The ball on the ground. Then Richard Rodgers, Marriott Ford. Eventually Kevin mowing his way through the Cardinal, the Stanford band for the win, 25-20. Buffalo can scratch a little bit, though, wondering about their kickoff policy.
Well, I think about a squib on the ground, so it doesn't allow that play to get formulated. I think in the air, it allows, even though Wycheck had to get it on a lateral himself, a squib kind of denies that with under 20 seconds to go.
So the Tennessee Titans, 9 for 9 in their home park, Adelphia Coliseum. While the Redskins are halfway home, it appears. Stephen Davis, 2 early touchdowns, 27-0 Washington at the half.
ABC's coverage of Wild Card Saturday goes interactive with enhanced TV. Log on to ESPN.com or NFL.com now.
Love me forever and let forever begin tonight.
The newly styled Lexus ES 300. Let the affair begin.
A whole new season of NYPD Blue, Tuesday, 10/9 Central on ABC. Viewer discretion advised.
ABC Sports playoff coverage is online with post-game analysis and game updates at ESPN.com. Welcome back to the Lexus Halftime Show. Once again, here's Chris Berman.
What a wild card Saturday we've had. Now, earlier today, we announced the starting lineups for this year's NHL All-Star Game in Toronto, as voted on by the fans. Going as members of the North American team, goalie Curtis Joseph of Toronto, Chris Pronger and Rob Blake on defense, Steve Yzerman of the Wings, his 9th All-Star appearance. On the Wings, Paul Kariya and Brendan Shanahan. For the World Team, Dominik Hasek, the Dominator in the pipes, Nicholas Lidstrom, Sandis Ozolinsh on defense, Matt Sundin at center, the great Jaromir Jagr and Teemu Selanne on the wings. Earlier today, I spoke with Mike Modano, center of the Stanley Cup champion Dallas Stars. I asked Modano if he thought the open style of the game showcases not only the NHL, but the sport of hockey.
I think so. I think the way the format has been the last couple of years as far as the international players, I think people are becoming more and more familiar with, like I said, Jagr and Forsberg, Matt Sundin, Dominik Hasek. Those guys are great players. They're some of the best athletes in the world. So I think it gets the fans more familiar with them. And plus, it usually turns out to be a great, wide-open game, and you know, people can cheer for whoever their favorite players are at the time.
Join us here on ABC Sports for the 50th NHL All-Star Game, February 6th, scheduled at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. On January 30th, ABC is home of the Millennium Super Bowl from Atlanta's Georgia Dome and the Millennium Super Bowl halftime show. Walt Disney Attractions is creating the halftime show entitled Tapestry of Nations. It's inspired by the year-long Millennium celebration at Walt Disney World. Headline acts include 6-time Grammy winner Phil Collins, member, of course, of Genesis, before launching his own solo career. Super Bowl Sunday. What an opening salvo we had fired today for the Super Bowl.
What the craziest, wild card game we've ever seen. Craziest season in a long time in the NFL. Who knows what it'll look like in Atlanta? McDonald will be there.
Who knows what that'll look like in Atlanta? Washington, they look pretty good for the first 30 minutes, don't they?
Yeah, holding the form. Brad Johnson, Stephen Davis. The defense stiffens. Who knows? Next, they win this week. Next week, they could maybe make a dent.
Yep, yeah. but the Lions, maybe. Hey, we've seen it all today. But right now, Washington has it all. 27-0. Second half in a moment.
If you ever have a rough ride in the Lexus RX 300, it's not our fault.
I was only kidding.
The Lexus Halftime Show has been brought to you by Lexus and our relentless pursuit of perfection. We'll be back with the second half kickoff after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations.
We're at the crossroads. We know how hard it was to get here. There is no reason to stop. The countdown begins. It's our time. Let's go. Let's get this one started. The countdown begins. The NFL playoffs. One Puerto Rican
What makes Channel 7 the reason to watch? It's John Ferrugia's in-depth investigations and Bill Clark's money-saving reports. It's Monday Night Football, the Super Bowl, and the hottest breaking sports news with Tom Green. It's 7 solutions and the 7 everyday hero. We're not just talking about making a difference. We're taking action. It's the 7 news reporters with more experience covering Colorado news than any other station. Channel 7 is the reason to watch.
McDonald's drive-thru. It just might be the smoothest part of your trip.
For a limited time, get 2 Big Mac sandwiches or 2 Quarter Pounder with cheese sandwiches or 1 of each for only $2.
Did somebody say McDonald's?
Think all Chili's taste the same? Take a close look at Stag.
What you see is what you get. Yeah, go. It's what you get. What you see is what you get. It's what you get. I said what you see is what you get, baby.
Stag Chili. See how good it tastes.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah. I'm Steve Gottsagen. Join me weekends on 7 News at 5 and 10.
Everything went Washington's way in the first half. They lead 27-0, and they get the football to start the second half.
Well, Al, I will tell you that I'm sure that Bobby Ross was in there just absolutely lighting into everybody and appealing to the Detroit Lion players' pride.
Hanson's kick fielded at the 13-yard line by Mitchell, who fakes a handoff and brings it back out to the 22-yard line. 27-0, our halftime score. Let's check in with Leslie Visser. Les?
Al, Boomer is absolutely right. Bobby Ross said that, first of all, there are too many penalties. They already have 8. He said we're not getting enough pressure on Brad Johnson. We're letting them run at will. And he said our offense is not giving our own quarterback, Gus, enough protection. He said that people are breaking down. They're getting beat. And he said, I told them in the end, play with pride until the end of this game. Al?
And we will see how that manifests itself here in the second half as the Skins take over at their own 22-yard line, 1st and 10. Again, Stephen Davis is gone for the game after a brilliant beginning. This is Skip Hicks. Davis with a knee injury. Played through the first quarter and a half. 15 carries for 119 yards, accounting for almost all of the Washington rushing offense, with Davis picking up a total of 119 of the Skins 154.
You see the 2 turnovers for the Detroit Lions, basically only 3 points, but in their first series, they ran into the punter and basically gave a first down back to the Redskins, who subsequently went down and scored a touchdown.
There was a big early play, and Centers makes the catch, takes it out to the 31, a little short of the first down, tackled there by Chris Claiborne.
When you take a look at the 275 total yards by the Redskins, total domination. They basically did whatever they want and basically got a helping hand from the Detroit Lion offense, who could not move the ball at all. 26 plays, 117 total yards. Not pretty if you're a Detroit Lion player.
117 yards and
96 penalty yards, Al.
A lot of them at the end on that pass to Herman Moore that resulted in nothing. The clock ran out. 58 of them, in fact. And 96 yards in penalties. Washington, the best 3rd and 1 team in the league this year in terms of converting 3rd and 1. Normally with Stephen Davis doing the dirty work, this time it's Skip Hicks converting out to the 38-yard line.
They just run right in behind number 52, Corey Raymer, Trey Johnson, 77, their right guard, and Keith Sims. And when you have those types of players in the middle like that, 3rd and 1 doesn't seem so difficult.
from the 37-yard line. That centers the man in motion. And Hicks out to the 40-yard line. Skip Hicks was their number 3 draft pick in '98. Played his college football at UCLA, and he and Stephen Davis were listed as co-equals on the depth chart at the beginning of training camp this summer.
Now, the good thing about the points the way they are right now in favor of the Redskins, they're just going to keep handing the ball to Skip Hicks and keep this clock moving. Maybe we'll be able to catch our flights out of here tonight.
I'm staying. Triple overtime. 2nd down and 8. Johnson throws. That is caught by Michael Westbrook. And his forward progress takes him to the 49-yard line, and that will move the chains.
The Lions defense have got to wonder what do they have to do to get to Brad Johnson. That time Stephen Boyd comes flying through untouched, and Johnson still has the presence to stand in there, take the hit, and deliver the ball. Now watch Stephen Boyd come right up the middle, and you have to wonder, what does it take to get to him? This is obviously a different set of circumstances than they had the last time they played in the Silverdome.
From the 49-yard line.
Just look at his face, Al. Look how calm and poised he looks.
31 years old. Played his college ball at Florida State. Fires it over the middle, and it's picked off at the 35-yard line by Stephen Boyd. And then you've got Johnson getting into a fight with Robert Porcher. So the quarterback and the big defensive end getting into a fight. McElwee went down. There is the referee at the bottom of the pile. Flags are down, of course.
This will be an interesting call on the fight, and see whether or not Bob McElwee decides to throw somebody out of the game here. How those guys were swinging at each other.
Exactly. How about if he decides to throw Brad Johnson out of the game?
You got to give Johnson credit going for Porcher, but you usually want to do that when your offensive linemen are around, so you can seem tough and you don't really have to fight. You let those guys pick it up for you.
Now you've got a rugby scrum and another flag.
And this is probably all precipitated by the tongue lashing that Bobby Ross gave his team, and they're not going to take anymore.
Oh, look at this.
And what is he thinking about?
And then the back judge gets whacked. Trey Johnson hits the back judge in the back of the head. That is Bill Levy. Ooh, boy.
He's one of the great guys, too. You know, we deal with him all the time before games, and I don't know what Trey Johnson's thinking about, but you got to catch yourself, and you got to hold back. And right now you're doing all the things that the Detroit Lions want you to do.
Well, you had a pick by Boyd. You had a fight with Johnson and Porcher.
We have unnecessary roughness against both teams after the play. And then we have an unsportsmanlike on number 77, Washington, 15 yards. The player
thrown
is
out of the game, yep.
So that is a Pro Bowl guard, Trey Johnson, who is ejected. So they're missing Trey Johnson, the Pro Bowl guard. Andy Heck, the left tackle, with a hamstring injury, went out in the first quarter. So it's a totally revamped line. And here's Porcher and Johnson that precipitated it.
And you know what's going on here, Al? Johnson had just thrown the interception. Defensive lineman, all of a sudden, look at the quarterback as fresh meat. He is no longer protected, and they can go after him. And defensive line coaches and defensive coordinators in the NFL basically tell their guys to go get the quarterback because he is free. He is no longer protected as if he would if he had the ball in his hands.
And then you just saw Brad Johnson with that angelic look, and now exhorting the crowd.
I don't know about that. And there goes Trey Johnson. He's going into the locker room. I don't know what he's so happy about. This game is nowhere near over. I mean, let's take a look and see what happened with Trey Johnson. Let's see what happens here.
But he's losing his balance. You know, the question now arises, I'll get to it in a second,
suspended
at the 45-yard line. Farad trying to get Detroit back into the game, throws it, is dropped. It's incomplete. When a guy gets thrown out of the game, as Johnson did, and even though he's not looking to hit the official, it looked as if he was losing his balance, the question is, is he subject to suspension? It's something that the league reviews, because if you get suspended right now and Washington wins, that means you're suspended next week in Tampa.
And take a look at this. You can see Trey Johnson right here. I don't know, Al. He's trying. Who's he trying to get to? It looks like he's trying to get to. I can't see the number.
I couldn't tell either.
It might have been Tracy Stroggins, number 97.
Now Farad, he gets sacked. So emotions very high on both sides of the line right now. Penalty flag comes in. That's Dan Wilkinson. This looks like the WWF right now.
And I think you're going to have a penalty on the defense. Face mask probably on Dan Wilkinson. I mean, have the Redskins come apart here or what? We saw Norv Turner talking to Brad Johnson earlier. He's probably telling him, look, you just got to everybody's got to calm down here. We have this game in the bag if we just stay within the game and don't lose our poise, and that's exactly what the Lions have done. They forced the Redskins out of their game right now.
They forced them out of the game, and they have forced them to play the rest of the game without Stephen Davis, without Trey Johnson, 2 Pro Bowl guys, and without left tackle Andy Heck. The good news, of course, is that they're leading 27-0.
And they're just looking at the time, I believe, right now, thinking that there might be some more time put back on the clock. Well, when Bob McElwee got thrown to the ground, his microphone went out.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He's trying to get everybody to reset the clock here. It sounds like they want to put some more time on the clock.
They can't communicate over the PA system.
He's going to want to come over here, and he's going to want to get on the phone, and he's going to want to call upstairs and say, hey, look, put some more time back on the clock.
In terms of length of service as a referee, Bob is now the senior guy in the league. This is his 20th year as a ref.
And they're on the phone, Al.
Call and collect. I think they've added 9 seconds to the clock, is what he communicated upstairs.
No, they added 9 seconds, and then they start the clock anyway.
Well, at least if they started it from 11:19. Otherwise, they would have started it from 11:10. And Detroit is appreciative. They'll take every second they can get right now, down by 4 touchdowns. Ron Rivers is the running back, first down from the 38-yard line. Farad tipped. And an easy pick by Evans, and he couldn't hold on.
You know, watching Gus Farad out, he's just uncomfortable back there. He's not going through his reads. He's got some guys open. He can't find them.
Happy feet.
He's got some happy feet, and you know, right now they really have nowhere else to turn.
Oof, tipped by Derek Smith, and then Evans will never have an easier pick. Second down and 10.
There's Corey Sorter. He's the backup quarterback, and he's never taken a snap in an NFL game. So, Gus, you're it, no matter what.
Second and 10 from the 38. Farad under pressure again. Sacked back at the 45-yard line. That's Kalu and Wilkinson in on him.
When you take a 3-step drop like Gus Farad has been doing today, you have to make the decision. You have to get rid of the football. And you can talk about protecting your quarterback. The quarterback has to protect himself. 1, 2, 3, throw it. Get rid of it now. Don't hold on to it. And when I see that, I see a quarterback that's not seeing the field. He might be seeing ghosts down the field. He does not want to throw the ball. He does not want to chance it. And you can take a look at his percentages. And factor in the sacks right there, and a lot of that is on his shoulders.
Third and 10, the quarterback rating of 17.5, and he gets sacked again. Sam Shade. 5 sacks for the Redskins. Sam Shade on the safety blitz. Sends Farad right into the shadows. 4th down.
You have to get rid of the ball in the face of a blitz, especially when Sam Shade comes through and he's not picked up. That's the responsibility of the quarterback. Right now, Gus Farad is not giving his team a chance to score any points or move the football.
Snap is dropped by Jet, but he gets the kick away. There's a flag that was just thrown at midfield. And the Lions will, at least for the moment, down it inside the 5-yard line, and we'll check out the penalty call.
Well, you have illegal men downfield because of the drop snap.
Now,
and there's your center, Mike Compton, screaming at his offensive lineman, saying this is ridiculous.
And the special teams coach will be screaming here as well, because instead of Washington being pinned inside the 5, Detroit's going to be forced to kick again.
There should be no discussion here. Take the penalty. Let's go kick it over.
They're coming back. Bob's mic not working.
Can you read lips? 5-yard penalty, illegal man downfield.
Lions this year allowing 64 sacks. Tied for the most ever by a playoff team. Well, you do the math on it. That means they allow 4 sacks per game. 1 a quarter.
They're +10 in turnover ratio, which means that the quarterbacks are holding onto the ball instead of throwing it away and maybe forcing interceptions.
Meanwhile, Compton continues to read the riot act to the offensive line. Jets a punt again. Mitchell makes a fair catch at the 13-yard line. With 9:57 to go in the third. Washington 27, Detroit 0.
Get your hands up! Get your hands up! Go, 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 go! Thank you, Detroit! We love you!
Detroit was last night.
Want to get away? Now you can. Fly Southwest Airlines coast to coast for $99 or less when you purchase tickets by February 2nd and travel Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday.
You are now free to move about the country. I'm too sexy. I'm too sexy. I'm too sexy for the drive-thru. And I'm too sexy for my car seat. Too sexy for the groceries. Too sexy for the dry cleaning. Introducing the newly updated Camry. So stylish it could go to your head. I'm too sexy for the slow lane. Too sexy for the neighbors. Too sexy for the car wash. Too sexy.
I want it to be a new way of looking at things.
I want it to be larger than life.
I want it to be the second industrial revolution.
I wanted to level the playing field.
Nortel Networks is building the new high-performance internet, and the network's businesses need to take advantage of it. So tell us, what do you want the internet to be?
A cash cow.
Right now, over me.
Let's play for the one to be a millionaire.
The original is back Sunday on ABC.
Aerial camera provided by Southwest Airlines. The stadium, 3 years old, built as Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. Then became Redskin Park. Now it's FedEx Field. And a reminder, Enhanced TV is online. You can log in at ESPN or NFL.com. From the 13-yard line, Washington on first down. It's Hicks, and he gets dragged down in the backfield by the safety, Ron Rice.
Al, you could see that Larry Peccatello, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, is trying to force the issue now, and he certainly has his guys revved up. And they're all disgusted on the sideline of the Detroit Lions. So you're going to try to do anything right now, and it's dangerous playing against a team like this that's going to take chances. They will force turnovers if you're not careful.
2nd and 13, Skins from the 10-yard line. And Hicks gets back to about the original line of scrimmage. This stadium, part of the sale when Jack Kent Cooke died, his son John tried to buy the team, tried to put a group together, couldn't come up with enough money, and it winds up in the hands of Daniel Snyder, who's in his mid-30s, made a lot of money, and there is Dan in the communications business, Snyder Communications. Grew up as a Redskin fan, talking to him before the game, been coming to games since he was 3 years old, and winds up buying the team. And of course, it was Dan Snyder who has gotten a tremendous amount of publicity, not only here, but around the country this year. A very hands-on style, as hands are on Johnson by Porsche that time back at the 6-yard line. And it's funny when you talk to people about...
excuse me, I'm sorry, you could see Johnson just getting, you know, tired of Porsche landing on him and shoving him down to the ground. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that.
They met in an earlier bout. So Porsche makes his acquaintance again. One thing about being a hands-on owner, you know what? If I spent $800 million on something, I'd be hands-on myself.
Hey, the players love him. They seem to love him, and it's a nice mix between he and Norv Turner. Norv's not a real fire and brimstone guy, but certainly he is.
4th and 17. They punt, and it is fielded by Ihane Owezuke. And Owezuke brings it back to the 45, and we have another flag.
Huh. Well, certainly this looks like a different defense and special teams on the part of the Lions. Now, if their offense will wake up a little bit.
Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Personal foul. 15-yard face mask foul. Number 23 of the kicking team. That's a 15-yard penalty. First down.
With 8:21 to go in the 3rd period, Washington on top, 27-0. There's your face mask by Stevens.
Solara Coupe, an entirely different kind of Camry. It's for you.
6 weeks before one of the biggest games of my life, I felt a strange pain in my chest. What my doctor found was my toughest opponent yet. 3 of my arteries were more than 90% blocked. After recovering from surgery, lowering my high cholesterol became more important than football. Later, I was fortunate enough to coach my team in the biggest game of the season.
That's the kind of play we need.
Along with a healthy diet and regular exercise, taking Zocor every day helped significantly lower my total cholesterol.
Zocor is a prescription medication and is not right for everyone, including women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant, or people with liver problems. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems. Because serious side effects can result, tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Zocor and about any medicines you are taking.
When diet and exercise are not enough, talk to your doctor about Zocor. Take care of yourself. It's your future. Be there.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
What is that? I believe that would be the reflecting pool, would it not?
You are correct, sir.
Yeah, very good, sir. There it is, the Washington Monument encased in that scaffolding. As Detroit has it at the 29, this is their deepest penetration. And a little swing thrown to Ron Rivers, and that's a loss of 2 to the 31. Stubblefield the first to get there.
Anything to complete a pass, and let's run a screen play and let's see what happens. You actually lose 2 yards on it. I still don't know why they're not going after Darrell Green a little bit more down the sideline, use Herman Moore in his height advantage. Go against the rookie champ Bailey from Georgia. See what you can get something down the field. Make it simple for Gus. 5 steps and throw it.
This is a 3-stepper and a pass that gets deflected at the line of scrimmage. Third down and 12.
He is just totally out of sync. He is not seeing the field. He's not fluid. And you want, it goes back maybe to the first play of the game. Al and Greg Jones, the linebacker, blitzed, untouched. Corey Schlesinger misses a block and just drills Gus Frerotte and hurts his left hand, his non-throwing hand. And from that point on, he has just looked totally uncomfortable.
But Bowman, you throw out that 58-yard freak play at the end of the half. He's thrown for 41 yards in the game today. Third down and 12. That freak tip pass at the end of the half to Herman Moore. Flag is thrown. Gus gets rid of the ball just before he gets leveled, or Sean Barber tried to level him.
You're going to have holding back here. against the Lions. But right there at the end of that play, Gus Frerott's running down the sideline and just tries to flip the ball, and it's almost intercepted.
Okay. What's your motion?
It's just he's not thinking, and he's not playing well, and he's not seeing the field.
Holding number 62, offense. 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Tony Semple. Bill Arnsparger brought about. Bill, of course, was a great defensive coordinator. In fact, he was on Bobby Ross's staff when Bobby took the Chargers to the Super Bowl in '94. Bill at one point was the head coach of the Giants, was with Miami with a no-name defense, and they brought him in. He was raising funds for LSU, and they brought him in to help Mike Nolan in midseason. 3rd and 22. Frerotte for the end zone. Jump ball, knocked down.
Why not?
Yep.
No, why not?
Yeah, you might as well at this point.
Give it a shot.
Darrell Green knocking it down.
And Darrell Green made the play, but sooner or later you're going to have to take a shot. Now, Johnny Morton's probably not the guy that I would want out there. I mean, although he is a tremendous receiver, he's just not the biggest of the receivers. Herman Moore with that wingspan.
Right, Johnny is 6 even, and Moore is 6'4".
Detroit.
And even Crowell is 6'3". And on 4th down, Detroit forced to take a timeout. 7:25 left in the 3rd. Crowd roaring. Why not? 27-0 home team.
Whoa, cool. Cool site?
Cool site?
What's this cool? What's this cool?
Cool what?
What's it cool? Quotesmith.com.
Quotesmith.com?
Quotesmith.com.
It's insurance.
Cool insurance. Over 300 companies.
I'm hot for this.
Instant is good.
And the best quote is...
Graphics are totally lame. Yeah, but the quotes will blow you away.
Quotesmith.com. Have you ever said
cool
to insurance?
I have the goosebumps.
Philips CD recorder. Burn your own CDs.
Willie.
It's go time.
Hey. That creepy mouse with the goggles is back in my apartment.
Really?
Can I hang here?
Absolutely.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
I used to be a car racer.
Oh, wow.
If you're looking forward to the next millennium, better think again.
You have to save the world, my son.
Save the world?
Gary Oldman and Bruce Willis, The Fifth Element, tonight 8/7 Central on ABC.
Fast. 7:25 left in the 3rd. A reminder, Super Bowl Sunday coming up on the 30th. Bill Collins among those who you will see on the E-Trade Super Bowl 34 halftime show coming your way from Atlanta on the 30th of January right here on ABC.
All right, so you take a timeout, you decide to kick or punt. I don't get it.
Waste of timeout. John Jett back to kick. Redskins have Darrell Green deep as a low snap. Then Jett gets it away. Green falls down. And the Lions down the ball at the 4-yard line. Now, if Washington wins, as we've told you, the Redskins go to Tampa. That means that the Minnesota-Dallas winner tomorrow goes to St. Louis.
Well, if they go to Tampa, they're going without Andy Heck, possibly without Trey Johnson, and possibly without Stephen Davis.
Right now, they're all out of the game. And in the AFC, if Seattle wins tomorrow, they go to Indianapolis. And then Tennessee will go to Jacksonville. If Miami wins tomorrow, they go to Jacksonville. And Tennessee would go to Indianapolis. Detroit, no running game at all this year. No running game today. Down 27-0 from the 4-yard line. Hicks out to the 6. You know, one thing we started to talk about Dan Snyder before, and he'll get even more press now that Washington appears to be ready to advance. If you don't know him and you just read about him, a lot of what's been written about him has been very negative. But I've been talking to people that I respect in the media here. One of them would be Tony Kornheiser, who knows this town as well as anybody. Says, wait a second, don't believe a lot of the garbage. He is very committed to this team. He's done a great job so far. And he has more fans than you would think.
And this is a team that has not been in the playoffs for a long time. They're here now, and he's basically the guy that's the difference.
2nd down and 8. And this is Skip Hicks up to the 10-yard line.
He's definitely brought an edge to the Washington Redskins, and you need to have an edge if you're going to win in the NFL.
I think, you know, what might turn some people off when they read and hear about it is they expect somebody to come in and get their feet wet. Well, Dan apparently is not that kind of a guy. Dan came in and dove headfirst into the pool.
What do you call $803 million?
Right.
Get your feet wet with $803 million. Is that right? Or no?
You might as well do a cannonball right into the pool. On 3rd down, that's tipped and it's incomplete. The bottom line is they didn't make a playoff appearance for 6 years under the old regime. And here they are, and right now on the cusp of advancing.
I was talking to a couple people that follow the Redskins on a daily basis, and they talk about Dan Snyder and Norv Turner, the relationship there. And like I was saying earlier, Norv is not like a Vince Lombardi scream-in-your-face type of guy, and Dan Snyder is. So maybe a little bit of Norv's patience and the aggressiveness of Dan Snyder has led this team to the playoffs.
Turk's punt will roll dead near midfield. Almost looked like curling there for a moment. Curtis Buckley giving it that old Canadian swoosh. Detroit ball.
Why is it that every city, every town, every neighborhood, no matter where you are in the world, all have something in common? A place for people to come together. It's quite simple. Humans are a social bunch. That's why we fly more places than anyone else, because it's important for the human race to stay united.
It's a freedom, adventure. It puts me at one with natural elements, liberating, allows me to clear my head. One of the few things I can do whereby I actually don't hear music in my head. Brings me closer to God. Allows me to bask in the wonder of God. Being at the top of a mountain is one of the most incredibly beautiful experiences I've ever had.
1.6 times a week.
A new year.
Last year, it was 3.9.
A new resolution.
I need more sex.
An all-new practice returns ABC Sunday, 10/9 Central.
5:48 left in the 3rd quarter. FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. Al Michaels, Boomer Esiason, Leslie Visser. NFC wildcard game earlier today. Tennessee in a miracle finish beat Buffalo here. 27-0 Redskins. Lions begin the drive at the Washington 47 with a pass that is dropped by the tight end David Sloan. The Lions have not run the ball once in this half. Darrell Green, bronchitis this week. Barely practiced, but at the age of 39, who needs practice, especially when you have a day like today, bronchitis and all, and the flu bug and the rest, and he was in bed all day Wednesday and moped around on Thursday, walked through practice on Friday, and today, it's the old Darrell.
He's been making play after play, been going after him. You see now Gus is trying to auto-block the line of scrimmage. His guys can hardly hear.
2nd and 10, caught by Crowell. Gain of 4. Tackled by Tim Denton.
I would have to say you'd be in your 2-minute offense. Let's keep moving it here, boys. Let's see if we can get something going. And that's what they're doing. You would think maybe if he completes a few passes in a row, he'll be able to get some confidence back and start moving the ball downfield a little bit.
3rd down and 6 from the 43-yard line. And he throws that one into the back of his own lineman. Yes. Tony Semple blocking Dan Wilkinson that time.
Well, I don't want to belabor the point, but when you see happy feet and you see indecision and see a guy pumping, pulling the ball back, he's not reading it well and he's not seeing the field well.
And they're compelled to go for it, down by 27 with 20 minutes left in the game. 4th and 6 at the 43.
Let's see if they blitz this time again.
And he's able to convert, so they keep the ball 1st down. Johnny Morton makes the catch when he's out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
That time the offensive line does a nice job of keeping the defensive line of the Redskins out. For one of the few times today, Gus Frerotte has a nice open pocket back there, and he can deliver the ball and throws a strike. Darrell Green gets turned around by Johnny Morton. You can give him some protection, give him some time. Maybe he can get some of the confidence back.
Took Detroit 40 minutes to gain 100 yards in the game. And this is Rivers to the 14-yard line. And 58 of that 100, Boomer, came on that wacky end of the first half pass to Herman Moore. So the Redskin defense, it's the all-time cliche, the much maligned Redskin defense, much maligned this and that. Well, they have risen to the occasion today.
Oh, with a lot of the help coming from the Detroit Lions.
I was going to say, that's the other part of the equation.
How many balls have been batted?
So including that one right there. That was Nduke Kalu.
Bobby Ross said, hey, our quarterback's got to be hot. He's got to be on the mark today. He's got to be able to see the field. And it's been anything but that for Gus Frerotte. And really what has turned out to be a nightmare return for him.
3rd and 4 at the 14. Oh, this movement on the right side of the line. That's Juan Roque, who will turn a 3rd and 4 into a 3rd and 9.
Now from up here, I can see a matchup of Herman Moore versus Champ Bailey, the rookie, and I'm thinking that you have to at least once go after that just to see what happens. And you're talking about a perennial All-Pro and Herman Moore going against a rookie who has had his moments in the sun, certainly this season, but has had some games where he's struggled. And now this time you have Herman Moore going against Mark McMillan,
who is 5'7". And on 3rd and 9, a little dump off is thrown behind Morton. It's 4th down.
And the frustrating thing right now for the Detroit Lions, they have nowhere else to turn. It's Gus Frerotte or nobody. You could just take a look at the way he's walking out there, that his confidence is shot.
And it's worth bringing back again. I mean, Sauter, who's the backup quarterback, has not thrown a pass all season. And Charlie Batch, who's their regular quarterback, suffered his 2nd thumb injury of the season last week. That's why he's not starting. There's Charlie. The good news on Charlie is after an examination this week, he won't need surgery. The bad news is he can't throw a pass if they put him in the game. 4th and 9. And Frerotte throws that one into the back of the end zone, and it is picked off out of the end zone by Champ Bailey, but it doesn't matter because Washington gets it back anyway on downs. 4:06 left in the 3rd, and the Redskins already thinking about the Buccaneers.
We've had success with that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Our company's made huge strides in e-commerce.
No, who hasn't?
We've got web-based order tracking, We can analyze our customer data in all kinds of ways. I mean, it's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the same with us.
Yeah. So how did you guys integrate your ERP?
Burp? Confused about e-business? Don't be. Get the software, services, and partners that make it easier. The business internet starts with Microsoft.
My dad was a coach at Georgia School for the Deaf. I grew up in an environment where deaf kids kind of adopted me in their culture. Thank all of you for coming to the camp today. When I first went to Merrill Lynch, I was very impressed with Steve Maloney. He was very easy to talk to, and he listened well. So it's important for all of us to listen well and to cooperate. Every day you're building your future.
You know, Patty, I'm convinced men prefer blondes. And what type of man would this be, Daisy? The same type that prefer Miller Lite because it's so smooth. Oh, those? Well, the ones with great taste love Miller Lite because it tastes great. And by the way, prefer brunettes. Oh, if they prefer brunettes, why do they drink a beer that's smooth and blonde? Because it's a natural blend.
Miller Lite. Taste the true Pilsner.
Yeah, like men care.
I'm Robert Porcher of the Detroit Lions. I see firsthand how United Way provides caring and love. The NFL, the United Way, and you, the power of teamwork.
Tomorrow, Dorothy Hamill leads a team of USA's elite skaters against the world's best. Michelle Kwan and Todd Eldridge also performing in the Kerry Lotion USA versus the World Figure Skating Challenge. This is Skip Hicks as the Skins have it, taking it up to the 25-yard line. A gain of about 6, tackled there by Ron Rice.
Okay. Well, the good thing is that now at least the offense of the Redskins will have a chance to work in some of their players. And take a look. This just happened on the sideline. That's Jermaine Crowell basically yelling at the center, Mike Compton, right there. The tensions are frayed. When you're on the sideline of a game like this and you're basically getting your butt kicked, guys start screaming at each other and it gets ugly.
And you're getting it kicked for the 5th consecutive week. That is caught at the 47 by Westbrook, and no, they say no. Didn't have control of it. Didn't have possession when his feet came down. It's incomplete.
At least the last couple of weeks, though, Al, offensively they were able to move the ball. And last week in Minnesota, Charlie Batch was on fire. Jim Zorn told me that he was playing great. He was hot, making all the right reads and decisions. This game, they haven't even come close to mounting any offense.
Right.
You know, centers and offensive linemen, as we look at Compton here, I mean, these guys are as intense as they come. And when things aren't going well, they want to make sure that everybody knows that, well, hey, look, I'm the leader. I want you to respond.
Here's Mitchell, and Bryan takes it out to the 36-yard line for a first down as he converts. Ron Rice with the tackle. Washington Monument, Capitol, Reflecting Pool.
And we talked about the ABC New Year's celebration.
Right.
Many people said Paris had the best celebration. It was a pretty good celebration down here.
There was, I think the best, well, Times Square was pretty terrific, too, obviously. And
well, it was great.
Washington Monument.
Yes, the Washington Monument was
right. How about my town, L.A.? We lit up the Hollywood sign. That was our New Year's. 36-yard line. Gain of 1. Maybe we'll do it next millennium. I think it cost us about $9 to do that. This wild card playoff game brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Quotesmith.com, where you get instant insurance quotes from over 300 top-rated companies. Gateway, connect with us. And Merrill Lynch, be bullish.
Well, the Redskins have been bullish. They've been kind of bullying the Detroit Lions all over the field today.
From the very outset, 2nd down and 10. Centers. And Larry takes it across the 50 to the Detroit 47-yard line.
The great thing about Larry Centers is he knows where he is on the football field. He knows he wants to stay in bounds, and he doesn't shy away from licks. I can tell you, he actually is looking for people to hit outside and when he has the football. And one of the great things that he does that doesn't get a lot of play, he does a great job of chip blocking in the backfield, slowing down the pass rush of the defensive ends, hitting them in the ribs when they come around the side.
the 47, Brad Johnson swings it out. Larry, the centers of attention, takes it down to the 42-yard line, 43-yard line, tackled by Chris Claiborne with the clock ticking down to the 1-minute mark, third quarter. Norv Turner, he got this job after he was the offensive coordinator at Dallas. Cowboys won back-to-back Super Bowls. Norv under Jimmy Johnson came here, and it's been an up and down 5 years up until this year, and this one has really been an up and down season, but they're very much on the upswing as the calendar turns to January. Nearly picked off by Robert Bailey. Third down. Brad Johnson, not only did they pick up Brad, they gave away 3 top draft picks, a 1 and 3 in the last draft and a 2 in 2000 to Minnesota. But what they did is they made a trade with New Orleans. Remember, Washington was very instrumental in that Saints trade that enabled New Orleans to get Ricky Williams, and thus the Redskins will have the number 2 pick in the draft this year, the number 12 pick, that's Carolina's pick, and the Sean Gilbert thing, and then their own pick. So they are in great shape in April. Third down and 6, and this is Mitchell to the 35.
You know, you brought that up to Norv Turner before the game. He said, you know, Al, I'm not even thinking about that right now. I mean, we talk to so many coaches. They tell you how it's just a year-round job, trying to manipulate all the different things, and whether it be salary cap, draft choices, free agency. And you can see right there how intense he still is. He doesn't want his team to let down. 27-0, basically having their way with the Lions. I think he's having a little fun, too.
Yeah. You don't see a coach smiling with 15 minutes to go very often in postseason.
Especially him.
And on the other side of the coin, there's that look. End of 3, 27-0.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready for some football?
The biggest event in television is coming to ABC. Get ready for Super Bowl 34, Sunday, January 30th.
Need another phone line? Order now. Get a $15 credit and save on unlimited internet access. US West. Life's better here.
I'm prepared for my son's education.
I'm not worried. I've recently diversified.
I get my financial advice from a very reliable source.
Let's be honest, smart investing takes valuable insights and a clear plan to help you reach your personal goals. The kind of information you get from Dane Rauscher. What you need to know.
We could go all the way. 100,000 sales by January 10th. It's the AutoNation USA Coast-to-Coast Clearance. It's about over 400 new car and truck stores in our network teaming up. It's about prices on 100,000 new and used vehicles coming down. Plus, you could go all the way to the Super Bowl. Enter to win an all-inclusive trip for 2 to Super Bowl 34. The AutoNation USA Coast-to-Coast Clearance. We're changing the game, and the winner is you.
In the cool, cool, cool of the evening.
They start him young here, Al.
They do. From the 35-yard line. That's Skip Hicks.
You know, as great a stadium as this is, one of the new stadiums, and it was nothing like playing in RFK, though. I mean, it was a special place, 55,000 people. The stands would be shaking. They'd be jumping up and down, and it's just a tremendous atmosphere. And they had to build a stadium because they have so many Redskin fans down here, and they love their Redskins in the nation's capital.
Right, the waiting list at old RFK was monstrous. Sonny Jurgensen, there he is. Sonny
battling the flu. Stay away from him.
Does the Redskins on radio. This is Skip Hicks. Sonny was one of the guys who when he was asked about the new owner, Dan Snyder, he said, hey, wait a second. He came in, this place was Club Med. He said he came in and shook it up.
And that's what you need. I mean, all the great coaches, they keep their players on edge. And when you think about like a Parcells, there's Sam Huff right there, or a Jimmy Johnson, all these guys, Mike Shannon, they keep their teams on edge. Guys got to feel uncomfortable in the NFL. It's such a competitive situation. Nobody should ever feel comfortable in their job security.
It's like a lot of businesses. 3rd down and 5. This is Centers taking the screen pass, shedding a couple of tackles. Flags come in. He gets to the 17-yard line.
We're going to have holding, I believe, on the Redskins downfield. Yep.
You are correct, sir.
And how fun is it to watch Larry Centers, though, when he catches the football?
Oh, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
I'm glad a guy like this, you know, you watch him play through the years, and he played with a lot of mediocre to poor teams, so you didn't know that much about Larry Centers, and now he has a chance. It's kind of fun. You get the postseason and teams advance, and you get to learn a little bit about guys who, you know, have really done great work through the years, but have done it in obscurity.
And that's what free agency does for you. When you take a look at the Redskin defense, Sam Shade came over from Cincinnati, has never even thought about making the playoffs, and then comes here and finds himself the leading tackler on the defense, and basically is leading this defense into the playoffs. I mean, how nice is that for him?
3rd down and 3. And Hicks takes it to the 21-yard line.
I thought the combination, however, of Mitchell and Centers was really one of the dynamic groups of guys on the field. They're both so competitive. They can make plays, both blocking and running and catching the football. And when I watched them on TV during the year, I saw those guys lift the energy level of this football team.
Yeah, Brian's really done it through the years. Brian's been a marvelous player to watch. He's not in the lineup at the moment, but he's in and out, runs back, kicks. Played quarterback in college. This is Hicks to the 22-yard line. And you're right, Boomer, you have Centers and Mitchell and the different combinations that Turner can use, and Hicks is the backup, and then you've got Stephen Davis.
Right, and then you take those players, and not only are they good on offense, but then you put them on special teams, and they truly make your special teams special because of their abilities. And there is Brian Mitchell, one of the all-time leading yardage gainers, I guess you would say, in the NFL, and a tremendous competitor.
Right, tremendously versatile. 2nd down and 10 from the 21-yard line as Johnson guns it, and it's knocked down at the 5-yard line. Coming flying in was Mark Carrier to swat it away.
There's a guy who hasn't given up, and this defense hasn't given up. They played very soundly this second half. You saw at the beginning of the second half when they had that fracas a little bit and they were fighting and pushing. But that's what it's about. Intensity on defense.
Robert Porcher will be going to the Pro Bowl, but he's not thinking about Hawaii at the moment.
3 defenders from the Detroit Lions who make the Pro Bowl: Stephen Boyd, Luther Ellis, and Robert Porcher. And you could see that Larry Peccatello, the defensive coordinator, probably appealed to their pride at halftime and said, let's go, boys, we got to pick it up.
They don't want to get embarrassed.
And they already are. That's the problem.
Yeah. 3rd down and 10 from the 22.
And you got a guy running on the field kind of out of sync.
Mitchell to the 12-yard line.
Corwin Brown running off the sideline onto the field. It just goes to show you how out of sync the entire team is.
Well, the Lions shocked everybody. And we go back to what we said at the top, a team that was 5-11 last year. The bomb is dropped on them on the eve of training camp. Sanders retires. They scramble, they never find a running game, and yet they wind up 6-2 at the halfway mark this season. And that's why they're in the playoffs. It was that great start as Hicks takes the ball to the 12, because they finished 2-6 with a 4-game losing streak, and unfortunately they are picking up in postseason where they left off in the regular season, unfortunately for them.
And also remember that only 3 of their players have played in all games at those positions. They've been shuffling out injured players, especially in the secondary and on the offensive line. Charlie Batch, their starting quarterback, has been missing for most of the year. To make the playoffs under those circumstances, and then to lose Barry Sanders, one of the greatest runners of all time, I think that you have to go over and realize how good a job Bobby Ross did this year.
No doubt, despite what's happening today. They had, Boomer said, three guys, only 3 guys started every game for Detroit this year. 1 on offense, the guard Jeff Hardings. 2 on defense, the tackle James Jones and the safety Ron Rice. That's the fewest number of guys to start for an NFL team since 1988, when the Chiefs had only 2 guys start every game that season.
And you're talking about a team that's in the NFC Central, one of the more competitive divisions.
And you look at the future there, Charlie Batch.
And Charlie Batch was making nice progress in his second year, too. And I got to believe that they would have won a few more games had he been healthy.
3rd down and 10. Johnson throws, and 6 points go a-wasting. Steven Alexander drops it at the goal line.
Now I talked to Mike Pope. He's the tight end coach for the Washington Redskins. I said, how are your tight ends? Oh, they're doing great. You know, we had a 4,000-yard quarterback, but yet my guys don't seem to catch that many passes. Well, they got to make their opportunities count. Steven Alexander had 29 receptions coming into the season. It would have been nice to have a touchdown in a playoff game.
Instead, they settled for a 31-yard attempt by Brett Conway. And that's tipped and blocked. And Lamar Campbell blocked it. Ron Rice running it back, and he's out in front. And Rice is going to go all the way to the end zone for a touchdown.
Don't give up yet, Al.
No. So
don't ever give up.
Instead of 30-0, all of a sudden, for what it's worth, it's 27-6. No flags. Tipped by Lamar Campbell. He just got a piece of it. And then Rice comes up with it and runs it all the way back for a touchdown.
A smart play by Rice, realizing that the Redskins were kind of just standing still and kind of fell asleep a little bit. But Campbell sells out. 27-0, 9 minutes to go in the game, and he's still selling out.
And that is how a 19-play Washington drive ends with a Detroit touchdown. Redskins ran 19 plays. And now Detroit going for 2. You might as well just get the points wherever you can find them. Barat knocked away. So the conversion is unsuccessful. Knocked away by Champ Bailey.
Did you think it really was going to be successful?
You're right.
I don't think so.
27-6 Washington.
Sorry, Slugger. Sold out.
Better luck next time.
In my house, I have a stair climber. In my house,
I have a stationary bike. In my house, I have
a treadmill.
In my house, a rowing machine.
And they're all collecting dust.
Get out there and explore from your Ford Outfitter. Outfitting you with the most far-reaching sport utilities on Earth. Ford Outfitters. No boundaries.
So, Jimmy, who's the best Super Bowl team ever?
Well, Rebecca, football is a complicated sport most women don't understand. But I'd have to say Dallas and their gloomy day defense.
You mean Doomsday defense?
Then there's the Pittsburgh Satin Curtain.
No, Steel Curtain.
Whatever. At least we both drink Miller Lite because it tastes great, right?
Well, actually, I like it because it's less filling, but it's nice to drink with such a football expert.
You know, I was a guard for the Packers.
Jimmy, you were parking lot security.
Taste the true Pilsner.
Are you looking down my shirt?
You ain't got no business being in the ring with me. You all know I am the greatest.
Muhammad Ali, King of the World. Monday night, 8 Central on ABC.
You can go to ESPN.com or NFL.com right now and log on to Enhanced TV. Up to the minute stats, interactive games, trivia, right there.
Well, here you go, Al. The hands team's on the field, and on comes the onside kick.
Ball has to get to the 40-yard line before it can be recovered by Detroit unless it's touched by a Redskin.
I don't think they're going to kick this one deep.
Bouncing ball, there's a flag down at the 37-yard line, and Brian Mitchell breaks a couple of tackles, but he brings it back to the 47-yard line.
What do we have, offsides?
Well, there are 2 flags at the 37.
Yep.
Offside, number 52 of the kicking team. That penalty will be declined. First down.
Scott Kowalkowski. And Washington will have it near midfield with 9:11 left in the 4th, and the Skins up by 21.
Stand by, having ground, X-ray 1, right in.
Initiating data download.
At Merrill Lynch, we're still bullish.
Analyzing data.
From Wall Street to the world.
Out here, the stories unfold like a map. Stories written across the sky with the tip of an eagle's wing. Stories to fill a scrapbook you'd want to page through again and again. But first, you've got to go to where the stories live. You'll need an outfitter for the journey. Ford is your outfitter. With the most far-reaching sport utilities on Earth, created to take you where the stories begin and never end. Ford Outfitters. No boundaries.
Quan, Hamill, Bonali, Stoico. The biggest names put their reputations on ice. Kerry Lotion USA versus the World Figure Skating Challenge, Sunday.
There is Stephen Davis, who carried the ball 15 times in the first quarter and a half for 119 yards, 2 touchdowns, then sprained his knee, coming off a sprained ankle, so he's been in street clothes for the last hour and a half as the Redskins play a little bit of clock ball here. And Boomer, we can start to think ahead to the Redskins, who will be traveling down to Raymond James Stadium next week if they hold on to this and take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And when you think about getting the bye week, Al, I think you don't have to look any further than this team right here. They lost Andy Heck to an injury earlier on, Stephen Davis, and looks like Trey Johnson, who got thrown out. You have to wonder whether or not he will be suspended because of his actions. And they're going to, they would need all 3 of those guys down there to go against that defense.
Very much. Second down and 10 from the 46-yard line. Going deep. And that is picked off. It is intercepted by Corwin Brown at the 21-yard line. So all of a sudden, in a game that they were just playing out the string in, from 27-0 to near 30-0 on a field goal to 27-6, to Detroit gets the ball back with 8:19 to play.
What if your car knew you? anticipated your needs, and then reacted to meet them? What if it could adjust to how long your legs are? What if it could help protect you in an accident? With sensors that know where your seat is positioned and the severity of the crash, so the front airbags react to you. What if it went even further? Wouldn't that make sense? What if it could prevent potential problems? Or light the road better at night? What if its testing exceeded anything the real world can dish out? Is that possible? What if it made genius obvious and brilliance accessible? It's time to stop wondering what if. Introducing the new 2000 Ford Taurus.
What did hundreds of people from all across America and Europe discover in Dublin, Ireland at the MGD Millennium Blind Date? Smashing Pumpkins. The Miller Genuine Draft Blind Date. Small clubs, large fans, big mystery. Next MGD Blind Date, summer of 2000.
Tuesday, it's Dharma and Greg and his new secretary. And the new secretary and Dharma? Wow! Don't ask. Just watch. All new Dharma and Greg, Tuesday on ABC.
Vote for the greatest Super Bowl team of all time at superbowl.com. We're back, Boomer. We keep trying to talk about a Washington-Tampa Bay matchup, and every time we do, Washington tries to put Detroit back into the game with that interception. On first down, Detroit from the 21-yard line. Farrat throws, and that one is caught by Brian Stabline, and he picks up 14.
Well, Al, I really don't understand that last series of plays by the Washington Redskins. A poor throw and a poor decision by Brad Johnson. And I think what you're seeing here is, I think you're seeing the fact that Stephen Davis is not on the field. He is the heartbeat of that offense, and he's not out there. All of a sudden, they start getting a little spotty.
He was out there enough in the first half to build up that big lead, 27-0, but now Farrat trying to pull off a late miracle with a long way to go, intended for Crowell.
And it would be a miracle, Al.
He would be pretty close to what happened in Nashville today.
I mean, another ball that hits an official. He's had balls batted down, and the umpire, the poor umpire here, is just getting absolutely whacked. He's like standing in front of the goal and just kind of deflecting it.
Farrat may be a zebraphobe. On 2nd and 10, Farrat throws, and that is caught by Jermaine Crowell, who hauls it in at the 50-yard line before he shoved out of bounds. Sly Coon sending down the play call.
Well, when you see plays like that, you see the abilities of these wide receivers. You just wish that they could have made some plays earlier on in the game. They never got into a rhythm. And you see, he gets away. He throws a nice ball. And that's how you catch the football, on the sideline with your hands. Make sure you have the concentration. Keep your feet down. Might be a little bit too late, though, Al.
1st and 10 from the 50-yard line. Flag is thrown. Farrat out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Flag coming in from the umpire. You know what that normally means. Well, it doesn't mean, normally it means holding. In this case, it means tripping.
Well, I think they caught Mike Compton.
Tripping, number 77, Coffin. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
Remember, Mike Compton, he has been the guy that's been on the sideline that's been quite vocal. And usually when you're vocal, you got to be careful, because all of a sudden the light comes shining down on you. And the one thing that I can appreciate from his standpoint, he's right in the middle of the pack, right there. And he tries to, and he does trip Dana Stubblefield. At least he was trying to protect his quarterback. That's the most important thing.
12 penalties against the Lions for 126 yards. 1st and 20 now. Ron Rivers is the running back in this set. Farrat And he gets out of bounds at the 50-yard line. He's chased from behind by Kalu. Gets back close to the original line of scrimmage. Tomorrow, the wait is over. All new episodes of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire start tomorrow at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on ABC, the home of Super Bowl 34 and the National Hockey League All-Star Game.
And the Pro Bowl, too, Al, right?
And the Pro Bowl. You betcha, Boomer. Will be there
and the
on
practice, right?
6th.
And NYPD Blue, right?
And Enhanced TV.
Yes. We got it all, Al.
You betcha. 2nd and 13 from the 47. Tremendous amount of success at Maryland, Georgia Tech, and then it was a very big surprise when Bobby Beathard hired him. Bobby didn't know him that well, but interviewed him, hired him in San Diego, and he got him to the Super Bowl.
Bobby Beathard was here with the Redskins when Bobby Ross was at Maryland, so he actually knew who he was, obviously, and saw the success that he had there.
3rd down and 8, and that's knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Kalu.
Kalu has been the glue all over the place tonight.
He has been.
Whew. Interesting, Al. He's only had 3.5 sacks this year, but he's been a dominant force in passing situations today and knocking balls down, sacks, making plays, hurries.
Been disruptive, and they can move him in and out with Kennard Lang. Lang, another pass rush specialist. That's the 8th tipped pass that Farad has thrown today. And on 4th down, that's tipped by his own man. That's Jermaine Crowell. That doesn't count as a tip pass. Washington has tipped 8 of his passes. And Batch can only look on and think about next year with 5:34 left in the 4th. 5:34 left in the 4th. Bring on Tampa Bay. Some of the signs around FedEx Field, and that's what's going to happen next week. There it is. Trust me, it was there. Washington at the 48-yard line. Swinging to the outside is Skip Hicks. The Redskins going there. Now, this might not be the last game played here this season because the winner of the Dallas-Minnesota game will then go to St. Louis, and if the Cowboys or Vikings win that game and the Redskins were to beat Tampa Bay, they would play the championship game right here because the Redskins are in effect the number 3 seed, having been a division champion. St. Louis seeded number 1, Tampa Bay seeded number 2, and then Washington.
Very tall order for the Washington Redskins to go down there and beat Tampa Bay, especially the situation with Andy Heck, their left tackle, and Stephen Davis, who they believe will probably try to come back and play next week, but he has a knee now and an ankle injury.
Under 5 minutes to go.
But you talk about Norv Turner, really one of the more respected coaches throughout the NFL, Al. We've been down here, we've done a few of his games, and he's been under an intense pressure the last couple of years. And certainly it's nice to see a good guy make it to the playoffs.
Maybe you think all the Redskins will get invited to sleep in the Lincoln bedroom after this one. What do you think?
How much are they going to have to pay?
Well,
how much does that cost?
Plenty. From the 39-yard line, but it all goes to a good cause. Flag thrown.
I knew you couldn't help yourself.
You started it.
Offense. 5 yards. First down.
Don't blame me.
I didn't show the shot.
Okay. Well, Craig Jano started it.
All right, well, he started it then.
1st and 15 after the penalty. (27-6). The Redskins on top.
Just hand it off. Just hand it off and let the clock run. Seriously, you don't want to get anybody hurt, especially your quarterback. You don't want to put them in a situation, so you hand it off 3 times. You don't make a first down, punt it. Who cares?
Chris Claiborne dragging Skip Hicks down. Claiborne, number 1 pick in the draft out of USC. Knocking down a UCLA guy.
This is the first time that we've got a chance to see the Redskins live. And early on, when Stephen Davis was in the game, you saw some passion. You saw a guy that came out here and basically took this game over single-handedly. And a lot of things came off of that. And all of a sudden, it's kind of gotten a little sloppy. If you take those 2 offensive linemen out of the game and you don't have Stephen Davis, now what does your future hold? At least your defense has showed up and played very well today.
Very well. 2nd down and 20. Oh. Ooh, and Hicks gets banged back by Luther Ellis. Plays like that is why Ellis is going to the Pro Bowl.
Well, not enough plays like that today, though.
Right, not today. Luther, one of, as we mentioned before, 3 Lions who are headed for Honolulu.
Luther just coming right in and beating Keith Sims to the point of attack, and just that's what you call penetration, and that's what you got to have when you're a defensive lineman. Got it just started with the first play of the game. And Greg Jones got back and just absolutely drilled Gus Perrott.
3rd down and 24. Mitchell. Ellis, one of 3 defensive guys going to the Pro Bowl, and Bobby Ross will also send 2 other guys. One is the tight end David Sloan, and the other is the kicker Jason Hansen. But right now, that's the last thing he's thinking about with his team down by 21. Crowd beginning to file out of FedEx Park, home of the Redskins. Their team up by 3 touchdowns. Turk punting. And the Skins will surround it. Down it at the 9-yard line. Super Bowl Sunday, you've got the Skins game coming up. You've got Nicholas and Player and Watson and Palmer, and then a 4-hour pregame show preparatory to Super Bowl 34 with our coverage of the game beginning at 6 Eastern time and 3 Pacific time right here on ABC. This wild card game is being brought to you by Ford Outfitters. No boundaries. Ameritrade. Believe in yourself. Miller Lite. Taste a true Pilsner. And Power Bar. Don't bonk. Boomer, you wouldn't bonk.
I need to have a Power Bar right about now.
Yes. First down from the 9-yard line. Rivers makes the catch, and he's tackled immediately in the open field by Sean Barber.
I really felt like the Lions had a chance. If we could just come there's Larry Centers, and how happy is he to be here? I really thought they had a chance, Al, if they just could have protected, and it all came down to whether or not Gus Perrott was going to be comfortable in that pocket, and Greg Jones said, no way, baby, on the first play of the game. He drilled him, and it's been downhill ever since.
Herman Moore makes the catch, and that's a first down.
And they're still picking him up off the ground.
2-minute warning. Washington heading for Tampa Bay and round 2 of the playoffs. 27-6 Skins.
I'm Robert Porcher of the Detroit Lions. This is my wife.
Wrapping it up here in Landover, Maryland. Let's see, they changed the name of the stadium from Jack Kent Cooke Stadium to Redskin Park. Now it's FedEx Field. They changed the name of the town
back
right
to the original name of the town.
Right. It was Landover to Raljon to Landover.
Dan Snyder's had a hand in just about everything, hasn't he?
That's why I never know where I am.
Well, it's a lonely feeling if you're Gus Perrott right now, Al. You just want to get off this field. You just want to get out of here.
By FedEx.
Send me home. Well, you talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Al, and Tony Dungy's done a great job down there. Sean King has kind of ignited that offense a little bit. Defense is still one of the best defenses in football. Does anybody have a chance to slow down the St. Louis Rams? That's the question.
Yeah, well, the Cowboys or the Vikings will go into St. Louis next week, and we'll find out. And Perrott hits Sloan, and the Pro Bowl tight end gets it out to the 46-yard line.
Now, where has that been all day?
Yeah.
With those 3 wide receivers and that tight end, why you're not doing more of that, or at least trying to do some of that? And I'm sure they were early on in the game, but they weren't able to complete those passes.
caught by Crowell across the 50 to the 49. For what it's worth, the Lions have one timeout.
You think about going into the TWA Dome out in St. Louis, probably the one team that can score with them pretty much is Minnesota.
Good matchup there.
That would be a good matchup.
Meanwhile, Detroit on the verge of tying that dubious NFL postseason mark.
But Al, don't sell the Cowboys short.
I agree with you.
And the healthy Deion Sanders, Leon Lett, we saw them on Monday night. And we saw Emmitt Smith basically have the half of a lifetime. And then he broke his hand, and then Troy Aikman got knocked out.
Right.
One of the best moves I think that Foch Fazio has made, the defense coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings, is putting John Randall back into the center of that defense. He's creating more havoc in there. He's a little bit more difficult to run against them now with him inside. So Lamar should be interesting.
3rd down and 4 from the 49-yard line. It's caught by Owezike. Stretching, reaching, has a 1st down. Among other things, another streak, a notch will be added to that Detroit at Washington streak. I mean, it is pretty amazing when you think about it. This will be 20 consecutive losses for the Lions in Washington. 17 regular season, 3 postseason, as Ron Rivers takes it to the 28-yard line. And, you know, coaches say, well, what does that mean? And they're right. I mean, you know, Bobby Ross doesn't come in here and say, hey, we've lost 19 straight games here, because, you know, half the guys that lost some of those games are dead. So it means nothing in that realm. But, I mean, when you think about it, just in a statistical sense, in a sports sense, it is pretty amazing to lose 20 in a row in one city for one franchise.
I don't think that the Detroit Lion future is as bleak as this game might make it out to be. When you think about Charlie Batch coming back, being healthy, they're certainly going to have to solve their running back situation. They lost their left tackle and their proposed starting right tackle to injuries, who both are on IR. Aaron Gibson, who is their second of their first-round draft choices this year, and Ray Roberts, their left tackle. So he's kind of piecemealed this whole offense together. But if they can get a big-time running back, Al, they might, with these wide receivers, the future isn't so bad.
Farad on 1st down throws, and that's incomplete at the 15-yard line, trying to jam it in. Tim Denton knocked it down. Lions coming in 8-8. And there they are, the teams reaching the playoffs at 500 or less. Remember, Cleveland and Detroit, 2nd and 3rd on that panel in 82 a strike season. They expanded the playoffs. That's why they got in. But as you can see, every team that's come in at 500 or lower has lost its first game. And tomorrow, Dallas, an 8-8 team, will try to end that jinx at Minnesota. Farad forced out of bounds.
Oh, there's Dan Snyder. You think he's happy, Al?
Very happy. He's in his I think Dan's 35.
Now you do know that he did attend the University of Maryland, Al, right?
Briefly, I do know that.
For a year and a half. Even with a partial education from that school, you can become a success.
Just think of what would have happened had he graduated.
Oof.
He'd have been in the booth, Wilbur. 3rd down and 1 from the 19. And you'd be the owner of the Redskins. Here's Stabline to the 5-yard line. And so the Lions will try to end it with one mini flourish as the clock ticks down, if they can get the play off. And Farad will at least take one shot into the end zone as he spikes it.
Well, I don't know, Al. I think I probably just would have turned around and went in and said, see you, boys.
Yeah.
Well, Brad Johnson is going to have his work cut out next week. And that's the thing about the playoffs. You know, you're so happy, you're so euphoric after this game, and you've accomplished something. Then the realization hits you that, oh, my, I got to go do it again, and I got to do it next week against one of the best defenses in all of football.
Back to work. Final play of the game, barring a defensive foul. And it will end with a touchdown to Ron Rivers. And the game is over, but there will be a conversion, even though there's no time on the clock. There's also a flag down.
21 defense penalty is declined. Touchdown.
So
now, do you go for 2 here, Al, now, or what do you do?
Might as well.
No, I don't think so.
Some people might be a little nervous, but for them, the key is really 46.5 right now. They don't have to worry about it. If you know what I mean, and I know.
Well, hey, before the game, you would have thought that there were going to be a lot of points scored today.
You would have, yes. And they'll simply line 55. Up and kick a very simple extra point to end the game. Hansen puts it through, and that's the way it will end. The Washington Redskins win the NFC East, host a wild card game, win it 27-13. Go back to work immediately and head to Tampa to face the Buccaneers next weekend as the Lions season is over. We'll wrap it up in a moment.